The moment of truth is not far away now. Anthony Joshua and Jermaine Franklin have respectively weighed in. I didn't watch the weigh-in. I just heard of Joshua looks big like he usually does, and Franklin looks significantly better. He stated in the lead up to this fight because he's in better condition, because in this fight he's had more time to prepare. In the Dillian Whyte fight, he was, in his words, pretty ill prepared, and he still was able to handle Dillian Whyte and fight well against Dillian Whyte. I've just realized through one of my supporters that Harlem Eubank is fighting on Channel 5. Alas, we've started, as the quiz show says, so we shall continue. Stay tuned, because I expect Uncle Bashir to jump into the show at some point during the show, but I'm going to go ahead and start the show off and talk boxing. There's so much to go through, so much to talk about, so you might as well get into it. Let's take this off. Let's get on the camera. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. Don't even know where to start from this because there's so much to talk about. I think I'm going to leave the Joshua stuff till the end. I think I'm going to start with TalkSport. I think one of the reasons why I've got such a great admiration for TalkSport, and really the admiration I've got for TalkSport comes off of Simon, more or less Simon Jordan, because Simon Jordan is a man that's been involved in sport and business. Yeah, people will throw the thing at Simon Jordan. He lost 100 million, or he did what he did with Crystal Palace. I don't really give a damn about that, because you could point at anybody at any point in time, and if you wanted to, you could find out the faults in them. But the fact about Simon Jordan, he's going to ask you questions. He's going to ask you questions, and you're going to have to articulate your answers in such a manner that makes sense. See, what has happened for a long time across boxing media, particularly in the UK, that people can just say things, and in the media, and the media themselves can talk a whole lot of BS, and the fans, like lapdogs, just accept it. They just accept it. Man, I've heard some stuff as well, you know, over the years. I thought that that's not possible. That doesn't make sense. That's not even true. I thought myself, man, that don't make sense with this, or that doesn't collate with that. And like, anyway, so Simon Jordan asked the key questions. So now we've had bite back, which I knew would happen, from Gareth A. Davis, who is, as far as I'm concerned, one of the biggest fanboys out there. You know, the way he kind of, I don't know, he's got a microphone in his hand. He's just stargazing when he looks at Tyson Fury. I think to myself, and Tyson knows it. And I know Tyson well enough to know that if you are stargazing at Tyson Fury and you're a media and you're not doing your job properly, Tyson will let you know about it. So, I mean, I've gotten to it with Tyson, and the fact of the matter is, even if I'm standing on my point, he will challenge me in standing on my point. So, so if you think about those guys out there that are lapping up to Tyson just shut up and walk away, because he'll feel that you're licking his ass. And Tyson, when you're doing them interviews, for the most part, is not interested in that. That's what I've noticed. Gareth is an interesting creature. I think that's a mild way to put it. So, you know, I've never been the greatest fan of Gareth A. Davis, and more I become less of a fan, or less of because it's, when I listen to media or when I listen to journalists and you're asking questions, I want to know, when you're asking the questions, like, what are you trying to fight? If it's investigative journalism, like, you can't be asked a question and answer the question at the same time. Oh, you're in the best shape of your life, aren't you? Well, that's not asking a question. You're answering a question for the fighter. And rather than asking the question like, what have you done in this camp differently to what you've done in previous camps? Oh, when you say you're going back to the drawing board, then again, you are making an excuse for the fighter, and then the fighter afterwards is able to say, yeah, we're going back to the drawing board, as opposed to, what does that drawing board look like? So, like, I did interview Eddie, and I talked about him throwing fighters under the bus, which he had to answer the question. It wasn't a yes or no answer. He had to answer the question. And so with situations like this, with these media guys, a lot of them are there because they want a ticket for the night. They want to go and say, I met Tyson Fury. I did an interview with Anthony Joshua. Look at me standing next to Anthony Joshua. Look at me standing next to Tyson Fury. And that's not the point. That's the way a fan thinks. And the way a fan thinks is the way they also will ask a question. So, ooh, it's Tyson Fury. So, and they will ask the questions. And nothing's wrong with that. But you can't put that in the same room as somebody who has no affiliation to any promoter and will just gun you and ask you questions. Like, if he sees it, he's going to ask you the question. Whereas opposed to a lot of these guys, well, if you can't pay for your air flight, and you can't pay for your accommodation, and you can't pay for to go into every fight, and your promoter's paying all those things, you're kind of like almost a slave. And in that sense, your boss, you do exactly what your boss says. And if you want the good times to continue, you will continue to do the things that have got you into that place. Do you understand? So you can't go in there and ask questions in an independent fashion. You lose your independence the minute that you decide to affiliate yourself with a promotion. You understand? And that's the way I've seen it, to be very honest with you all. And rightly or wrongly, I will judge a journalist based on the type of questions they ask, the way they handle the answers that are given to them, and whether they will leave it as the way it be or go further on into it. And one of the reasons why I like, and one of the reasons why I got into doing interviews in the first place is that when I'm asking questions, I'm not just asking questions to set me up for that particular fight. I'm thinking to myself, I may never get to talk to that person again. So let me ask those questions as if it's the last time I get an opportunity to talk to them. And then it gives me sort of questions that my interviews you can go back like 5-6 years beforehand, and you can listen to the interview, and you can listen to what the time where that interview is. But then they'll answer questions that will let you know about their general character and how they handle certain things. So that's why I've got a fair idea as to what sort of will happen with certain characters and certain individuals. And that's why I know, which leads me to my next thing. I knew. So like Gareth A. Davis biting back at Simon Jordan, he better not do that because he'll get himself absolutely exposed over TalkSport. TalkSport will become the boxing media of common sense, where common sense prevails. See, in boxing, there's a sort of logic that happens where everything else outside of boxing is fine, but as long as it gets into the boxing world, it doesn't matter. It's like in business. There are decisions you made in business that if you took it into your own personal life, it wouldn't work. It would either get you sacked, it would get you demoted, you wouldn't be able to be employed. But in the world of boxing, we forget all that and think it's just boxing, it's two boxers. And that's why a lot of times I notice in boxing, when people make certain statements, I think, well, you wouldn't do that in your personal life, would you? You wouldn't do that in your personal life. Like, for example, a guy is asking to get paid more money for a fight and you'll get an undercut. Now, if the guy doesn't turn up, like there were times that I think Dillian White didn't turn up to a press conference because he wasn't getting paid the amount of money he was worth, or he didn't get his flights put for, or whatever. Now, if that was in real world time and somebody told you, come to work, we're not paying you, we're not paying you to come to work, you'll have to pay your travel to get to work, and you've got to be in work for 6 to 8 hours. In real world, people won't find it acceptable. They'd kick up a stink about it. But in boxing world, it's okay. Boxers just have to deal with it. And yeah, they can get pay cuts and Doesn't matter. They still got to turn up to a press conference, still have a smile on their face and accept it. That's sort of one examples of what I'm talking about. I'm just stalling time because I know that Uncle Bashir will be joining us at some point on the show soon. So I'm trying to kind of like go through things. So, which leads me to my next point. I'm not surprised that John Fury, I said less than 24 hours ago, I said to you all, if you want to find out what's really going on in boxing, particularly with Usyk and Fury, talk to John Fury. And some smart person went and spoke to John Fury. And what did John Fury say? Oh, he said that it's greedy promoters. That if the fight was in the Middle East, they'd get more money of more money. So 70-30 in a split is still a lot of money in the UK. But 70-30 as a split in Saudi Arabia is more money that can be made on the 70-30 for both parties, if you get what I mean. It's more of more or more of less, if you get that. So I do understand the logic in that. So like in England, as a fighter, I might make out of that 70-30, I may get 20 million fighting in England. But if I go to Saudi Arabia, I could get paid 40 million out of that same 70-30 split. Do you understand? So John Fury says that the promoters are greedy. I don't know. Is he referring to Frank Warren and Bob Arum and the handlers? Interesting, he talks about handlers. Who are the handlers? What are handlers? Who are the handlers in boxing? What do you talk about handlers? So that's another interesting point to talk about and to explore. Now, I didn't see the interview. I was scouring around trying to find the interview where John Fury said that he should fire Sugar Hill. Now, Sugar Hill did an interview with Lawrence. An interview was done with Lawrence Okoli. And I was watching, not so much what was said, but what wasn't being said. Okoli was doing an interview, and they were talking about Sugar Hill and the changes being made, and and the interview was prying about Tyson Fury, trying to ease the way into the Tyson Fury, getting to the point of was he training for the Usyk fight? And Sugar Hill comes in and says, look, I am here. Let's make this very clear. I am here as a professional trainer to train Lawrence Okoli. I've been training Lawrence Okoli since January. I'm here today because Lawrence Okoli paid for my flight to come from where I am to where I am, to where I was to where I am to train Lawrence Okoli because I am Lawrence Okoli's trainer at this point. Not contracted Tyson Fury at this point. I'm contracted to be Lawrence Okoli, and I'm professional about what I do. And I'm not going to lie to you or BS you and tell you that I've been training with Tyson, because I haven't. I've been training with Lawrence Okoli. So, since that has happened, supposedly, John Fury, I haven't seen the interview, that's why I say supposedly, but it seems to be on a lot of the media. John Fury is now saying that they need to sack Sugar Hill. They need to sack Sugar Hill because he's a traitor, because he basically exposed Tyson Fury for not training. Well, so we should lie then. What you're saying is we should lie. That we should say Tyson was training for the Usyk fight when he damn well wasn't. So, and then he then says on another breath that Tyson Fury, some of the things he says on social media gets carried away, and he blames it on his mental health. Why Tyson Fury gets carried away and why he says the things he says. That's what John Fury says. I remember, I was quite close to that whole mental health thing when the story broke about Tyson being on cocaine. That came off our channel. I'm not proud of that has come out, but that's just the way it happened, and the whole scuffle and all the trouble around it. I remember John Fury at the time was pretty, he came from a man's world, and mental health wasn't a big thing. So I don't know. So I just wanted to talk about those two issues that have been on my mind. The next thing I want to talk about is, since I did my level 3, and I do want to talk about it, it's now level 2 in coaching for cricket would be your technical side, making sure you know your technical do's and don'ts and how to get people into right positions. And that's for cricket. And I say cricket and boxing are very similar. That's another conversation for another day. Now I've just finished doing my level 3. The difference between the levels of 2 and 3 is that at 2, you're looking at technical, and at 3, you are doing at more advanced technical things. But you're not now looking at outcomes. You're now looking at how to get the best out of the athlete. You're now thinking about, it's not about what you do, but why you do it. And it was interesting because Joshua was talking about, Joshua and Okoli were talking about not just having power and throwing punches, but not what you do, but why you do it. That's what we call the process. So in cricket would be what, not I'm hitting that ball to the boundary or I'm hitting that ball out of the ground. It's the why. Why am I hitting that ball out of the ground? Not what I'm doing. That's the technical side of it. Why am I doing it? What's the purpose of what I'm doing? And what is the process from that ball being released out of the hand to playing the shot? Now with boxing, here we bring the similarities. Now it's like now, before it's like I'm throwing the jab. Here's how I throw the jab, or here's how I throw the jab. You know, I might be doing a chip jab. I might be going a straight jab. You know, I might be doubling up the jab. So now it's not what I'm throwing. It's why I'm throwing it. Am I throwing it to keep the fighter off, the other fighter off? Am I doing it to open up and you know, as a probing, looking for openings? Am I using the jab to maintain distance? Am I using the jab to keep myself out of trouble? I've been hurt. I'm using the jab to back up, so I give myself a couple of seconds of breather. Am I using the jab to set up, to bring the fighter on, to jab, bring the fighter on, give him the jab, bring him on, hit him with the right hand? So the process of bringing the right hand in, am I just going to throw the right hand, or am I going to set that right hand up? So it's processes. It's not having a right hand and throwing it. It's when to throw it and why am I throwing it? And so it's those things, processes. So if you hear Joshua talking about processes, I'm sure they've gone back to the basis and they're talking about process. So the process, not I have a jab. Why am I throwing that jab? And what's the purpose of throwing that jab? Is it to break the fighter down? Is that to maintain distance at all times? Because he'll have to maintain distance with Franklin. He's going to have to keep Franklin on the outside. But if you don't have an educated jab, say you hear in boxing talk about educated jabs. What's an educated jab? An educated jab is one that is thrown with some form of purpose. So I'm throwing the jab to keep you at distance. I'm throwing the jab to set up a place for my right hand. I'm throwing the jab to keep you off balance. I'm throwing the jab to distract you from my right hand that's coming. I'm throwing the jab as a way to actually get my left hook off. My left hook is my best punch, right? But I can't just throw my left hook because you're looking for it. So if I put my jab out there, and then I might throw a right hand, I might not put too much on that right hand. I might just put enough of that right hand, just enough of the right hand there, bang. But really, as I get myself into throw that right hand, the process, now comes the left hook, bang, there's my left hook. I'm whipping that left hook over. So I'm just talking about process there. That might not be accurate, but I'm giving you an example of process. So Joshua, through his career, up to this point, might have been, I'm a big guy, I'm a strong guy, get out there and throw those shots. Now, I am saying this for a purpose, and the purpose is this. Now we're coming back to Joshua and this Franklin fight. Now, for me, there's a myth about Anthony Joshua, a big myth. And it is one that I'm surprised it's still being thrown around. He looks like a bruiser. Yeah, what Spence Oliver said. I talked about this stuff yesterday. Yeah? Oh, you know, he looks so big in there. So they're talking about big power. Go out there and blast Franklin out there. Now, I will remind you, all that have that mindset of Anthony Joshua going out there and being a destroyer, it's a myth. and this is the myth, Anthony Joshua is a much better fighter when he isn't engaging. And I'll say this much, and that's how I was able to set up the way that Ruiz would have knocked him out. In the build-up to the Ruiz fight, I gave you examples of video. I gave you video footage that I broke down of the of when he got knocked down by Klitschko, when he got stunned by Dillian Whyte, and those areas I was talking about was when Joshua was on the attack. When Joshua's on the attack, he forgets about defense, and he's most vulnerable to the left hook. And I said, the way Joshua will get hurt in this fight against Andy Ruiz, the first fight, was the left hook. He will engage with Andy Ruiz. He might even drop Andy Ruiz and hurt Andy Ruiz. But it's when he gets up close, mid to close range with Andy Ruiz, that's when Andy Ruiz will let that left hook off. And when he let that left hook off, that's when he let the shot. That's when Andy Ruiz let off that left hook, which calls the for Anthony Joshua. And let's remind you of another thing, that when Anthony Joshua's really hurt, if you look at Ruiz, when he's hurt against guys who've got fast hands, can't fire back, look at the Ruiz fight. When Ruiz threw the left hook and he got on top of Joshua, threw them punches, Joshua never responded. He just kind of covered up and fell to the floor. That's because the guys he's fought previously, apart from the Klitschko fight, there was no real resistance. Resistance from guys who got fast hands. You see, when you look at the Dillian Whyte fight, Dillian Whyte caught him with a shot and he stunned him. But Whyte hasn't got the fast hands that Ruiz has. So if Ruiz catches him in that situation, as I said, it's curtains for Joshua. And I don't think that Derek James can save Anthony Joshua if he's hurt by Franklin and gets caught by Franklin, because Franklin will throw those fast punches as well. He doesn't throw them the same way as Ruiz, but he's got the fast hands. Now, disclaimer, and this is not covering my back, this is what it is. We all know that Joshua has the power to end this fight like that. He could do it. He can walk out there in the first round and he can blast Franklin out in the first round. He can lay him out flat. He's lighter, so he hasn't got as much weight on him. So if he's to get hit with one of them Joshua right hands, he could fall over. We've seen it before. However, that means that's a very confident AJ. That's an AJ that's he's not gun shy. That's an AJ that has no demons. That's going to come out like that bruiser that everyone expects him to be. So for me, I'm looking at the situation here and I'm saying to myself, if he gets up close and he lets his hands go, because he's got faster hands than AJ. If he gets up close and he lets his hands go, and AJ is not as effective when he's backed up, or he hasn't been effective when he's backed up. He has never been effective against a guy who comes at him and backs him up with his back against the ropes. Franklin, that's where he'll want AJ to be in a fight. You want to be mid-range to close range, backing AJ up against the ropes and landing heavy shots in AJ. That's where Franklin wants the fight to be. He doesn't want AJ at long range, using the jab and using the right hand, because actually, I think at that range, AJ is pretty decent. At that range, using the jab, using the right hand, using the left, at that range, AJ is good. It's when AJ gets aggressive and he goes on the attack. That's where I'm concerned about the left hook coming over the top. Or even it's a right hand that Franklin throws through the middle. Overhand right. He clipped Dillian with it. Overhand right through the middle. So I expect Franklin to be lighter, which we've seen. I expect him to be faster in this fight because he's lost a lot of weight. He says he's got a chin of steel. I don't like to hear fighters say things like that because, yeah, you're backing yourself. The best chin you can have is one that don't get hit. But observations, I like to make observations. Now, again, disclaimer. AJ can hit him with right hand, crack him, knock him over, and we're done for the night. But here's this. If you look at the two guys after the weigh-in, they asked AJ about the fight, really won't talk too much about game plan, talked about the fans, talked about, you know, it's good to be there and stuff, and really didn't want to engage in game plans and what he was going to do fight night and stuff. You look at the square off between the two guys, and you look at AJ as he looks like in every fight, and you look at Franklin, for me, up close, chewing gum and looking AJ straight in the eyes, just chewing gum, look at him. And I asked myself the question, when Franklin looks at AJ, what does he see? Does he see an opportunity of a lifetime? He's looking and going, man, I know where I've come from. I know what I've struggled. I know where I had to come from. I know where I've been. I know where I've been so far. And this is boxer's psyche. This guy here, this is the golden goose. I beat you up. I beat you. You're the guy that stopped me putting food on my table for my family. You're the guy that, you know, if I beat you, you've been dropped before. You've been dropped by smaller guys. You've been dropped by guys my height. You've been knocked out. You've lost 2 of your last 3 fights. The guy you lost before that to was a fat guy that was small. I mean, I fancy my chances. And he's looking at him. And he's chewing his gums, right? Okay, you're big. But if you hit you in the chin, your legs will go. I can hurt you. I've got 21 knockouts on my record. I can hurt you. It's not like you're invincible. I can hurt you. I can hit you and I can hurt you. That's a fact. You can hurt me, but I can hurt you too. And he's chewing gum and he's looking at him. And me, I'm looking at body language. Like, this guy's come to fight. Nah, he might not win. But he's confident and he's coming to fight. And he's chewing that gum. It's like, yeah, this is it. I'm here. This is the moment. I've trained for this shit. I'm here. That's what I'm seeing. I'm just seeing same old Joshua. And what is Joshua seeing? I just have to lamb. I'm just gonna knock you out. I'm gonna knock you out. I know the game. I've got the game plan. Know the process. So what's the process, Jay? You know, get behind the jab, use your jab, and box. Derek James has already said, I don't care about how we win the fight. We just need to win the fight. And when a trainer starts talking like that, it's about, we need to get over this line. I don't care how we get over this line. We get over this line and there's another fight. And we're still in the Tyson Fury sweepstakes. We don't get over this fight. We don't win this fight. We're not in those sweepstakes. This is do or die, literally. So when a trainer starts talking about, and he's keeping it very basic with Joshua, very, very basic. So if you see the way Joshua's behaving, it's like he's not getting involved in certain conversations. He's cutting certain things out now. I'm thinking, okay, so it's about the focus. It's about the process. So he's having to tell himself. And then even his promoter, when your promoter has to turn back, I mean, sometimes I don't understand. You're promoting a guy on one hand, but you put him in a bad light. You said, oh, you know, I've been telling Josh to believe himself. I've been telling. If the promoter is having to tell the fighter, the golden goose, the big man, if the promoter is having to tell the big man to believe in himself, there is a problem. If it's left to the promoter, so what have you got the trainer there for? What are you going to say as a promoter that the damn trainer and the second ain't going to tell him? You tell me. The same promoter that said that in his dressing room before the Usyk fight, he had pads. He was doing pads and reading notes at the same time. That same promoter that sits down and says, "Oh yeah, there were 3 people in the corner and all people shouting stuff and beautiful AJ." The only reason why you're saying that stuff now is because it went wrong. But you endorse that crap. You yourself endorse that crap. And you've all come back round now to understand what I've been saying in the beginning. One voice. one voice. That voice is Derek James. But has the damage already been done? Has the damage already been done? Because you're talking about a guy who's in it just for the money. He said he's in it for the money. You know, Lennox Lewis talked about the money in coming back. But if you looked at Lennox Lewis in his career, you know, he was very focused on becoming the best heavyweight in the world, becoming undisputed champion. Listen, he was relentless. You know, I want Mike Tyson. You know, I want Holyfield. I'm the best heavyweight in the world. You know, and I'm going to prove that. You know, I want them all. I want Tyson. I want Holyfield. You know, Riddick Bowe. I want them all. Michael Grant. I'll knock them all out because I'm Lennox Lewis. So Lennox was always. It'd be funny now that Joshua's in America and he said, boxing's about the UK, not America. Now he finds himself in America, that now he's going to end up going down the Lennox Lewis route. So let's go in here, guys. Let's hear what's Josh has a chin of glass. Are you doing a prediction before the fight? Actually, I'm waiting for Uncle Bashir to hop on. I don't know where he's. I know what's going on. You know, obviously it's Ramadan, and Uncle Bashir is a devout Muslim, so we have to consider that. And also, there are other reasons why he's not on the show. I can't divulge that, and that's as much as I can say. But yeah, I spoke to Uncle Bashir up to. Well, let me tell you, last time I spoke to him. I spoke to Uncle Bashir last night at 1 a.m. in the morning. I spoke to Uncle Bashir. So that will tell you. I was on a call with him 1 o'clock in the morning. So it's not like we're not talking. We're talking. It's just that I'm still waiting for him to. Let me check something. I'm going to call him. Hold on. What time is it? Got to be careful because they might be praying as well. Time is 10:41, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6:41. Comes close to 7 p.m. So I just seen he's reading the messages. So, okay. So I will do a prediction for the fight. Right. Her needs to be careful. His Mrs. might take down Matchroom, Sky Nicholson. Yeah, I remember seeing Sky Nicholson when she first joined. I thought, yeah, nice looking girl. I've heard stories that her think she's more than a nice looking girl, but again, that's not my business. So I'm not getting involved with that. It's not my business. So, a lot of thoughts that come into my mind about this fight. If the fight goes over 6 rounds, if Joshua begins to tire with all that bulk, if Franklin can make Joshua exhaust himself over the first 6, Brock Simmons Barker connection is pure corruption. Oh, I think we have a whistleblower in here tonight. Are you a whistleblower or are you starting trouble? Isn't that the same thing? A whistleblower, a whistleblower start trouble. Yeah. Look, it's not my business. To be quite frankly honest with you. Yeah, it's not my business. I'm very much part-time in this stuff now, very much. But yeah, the fight itself, I'll be interested to see. You know what? Derek James is going to actually know who Anthony Joshua is tomorrow night in that dressing room. Because I've never thought Anthony Joshua had a problem physically. I've always said Joshua's mental approach is questionable in the way he prepares himself mentally for fights. Like, he mentally conceded for me in the first Andy Ruiz fight when he allowed Andy Ruiz and he handed the belts over to Andy Ruiz. There, he mentally conceded there. Then, look again, and then you look at that. That's the Andy Ruiz first fight. And then you look at the Usyk fight. He conceded again, this time by welcoming Usyk over to the UK like he was part of the UK tourist board, and being very friendly, taking photographs of Usyk and all this nonsense. So I felt that was, again, I said to people there, I did not like that behavior. And people said, I'm going to be looking too deep into it. What happened? And in the rematch, Garcia, no. What happened? Look, I'm not telling you that I've got some predictions very wrong. But I'll tell you something. If this fight goes into the second half of the fight and Franklin's still there and he's not taking a lot of punishment and AJ has exhausted himself, it will be an interesting fight. Let's see what's going on here. It'll be an interesting fight, I think. So I think we haven't seen the best of Franklin, but I think we've seen the best of Dillian Whyte. And Franklin, out of shape and not properly prepared, was able to do what he did with Dillian Whyte. And both guys, Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua, come into this fight. Both of them come into this fight with new trainers, trying new things. Jermaine Franklin is coming in this fight with some new ideas of his own. Fitness, maybe faster, and knowing that Joshua's there to be knocked out. Joshua's not confident, or he might not be confident. We'll know within the first or second round how to me, it's going to be key how Franklin takes the first hard right hand from Joshua. Because if he can absorb the right hand of Joshua, it's nice, clean right hand. If he can absorb that well and stay off the ropes and make Joshua exert himself, we have an interesting fight. Make the big man tired. Make the big man throw punches. Let the big man throw a lot of punches. Now, there's another thing I heard about. Joshua throwing 200 punches a round. That don't impress me. That concerns me. That concerns me. I'll tell you why it concerns me. Because heavyweights are not built that way. Well, not heavyweights like him. A guy like Usyk's a little different because he's come from cruiserweight moving up. I'm not so sure if I would want to be seeing Joshua throwing 200 punches a round. I would rather, for my set, I'm not doubting Derek James and what he's doing, but for my set, it wouldn't be how many punches I'm throwing around. It would be what sort of punches I'm throwing, when I'm throwing those punches, and being in a position to execute those shots and not get hit. When to explode, when not to explode. When to use the jab to defend and get distance, when to let shots go. Against elite fighters, not against flipping Kevin Johnson. Do you understand? Because in elite boxing now, especially heavyweight boxing, click, you make one mistake, you're out of there. So it's whether, so he can train Spence that way. He can train Jamal Charlo that way to throw 200 punches around, because that's welterweight boxing and light middleweight boxing. Lighter fighters can get away with that. But like I said in a previous show with Klitschko was trained because of Klitschko's chin, he was trained in such a way that it was a defense mechanism. Use the jab, use the right hand, not many uppercuts, maybe left hook, left jab, right hand, left hook. There. And up close, tie up. Don't engage. Wait for referee to break you off. apart, use the jab, soften them up with a jab, and let the right hand go. You know, even Lennox Lewis, when he's throwing his shots under Emmanuel Stewart, is when to throw the shots. Look for the jab, look at Holyfield, jab, look for the right hand, you know, jab, right hand, I step back, throw the uppercut. But they're all sequence punches at like a right time, or you could see, I won't say the words choreographed, but you could see the process and what was going on. That's what I'm saying. That's what people say here. It says, Hearn Sims Barker connection is pure corruption. The Ben scandal made me dig deeper, and it all makes sense when you look at Company's House. That's all I'll say. You're gonna have to listen. I've spent the last 3 months racking my brain trying to work things out on the field and off the field. I'd rather not play Sherlock Holmes. You don't have to express everything, but you can at least give me a little bit more for me to read between the lines. I'm not exactly gonna stop Google here and start Googling Company's House. It's not my business. It's not my business till it's made my business. That's what I'm saying to you, YZ4. It's not my business till it becomes my business. You know, I never know who's listening to me on these shows. I never know. But it is interesting. Thank you. Good evening. Good evening to everybody on the show, by the way. John Smith says, I'm interested to see if Joshua can do a better job than White. Well, when they said that Dillian White was an elite heavyweight, I think Dillian White was an elite heavyweight until he got knocked up in the manner he got knocked up by Alexander Povetkin. I think after he got knocked up by Alexander Povetkin, that elite left. And I just think he was just a good top 10 heavyweight because the way he got knocked up by Alexander Povetkin, and then he got knocked up by Tyson Fury the same way. You can't be elite and get beat the same way by 3 different guys. He got knocked up by Joshua by an uppercut. He got knocked up by Povetkin by an uppercut. And he got knocked out by Tyson Fury by an uppercut. I'm sorry, but that's 3 times you've got knocked out the same way. I don't know if that's elite. I'm not saying he's not a very good fighter. I'm not saying that he's not a game fighter. Elite, I'm not sure. And I think that between the Povetkin fight and the run-up to the Tyson Fury fight, all the arguing the WBC, I think Dillian White lost something. And then in the fight against Jermaine Franklin, he was trying to reignite his career under Buddy McGirt, who stopped him from getting knocked out because McGirt had put in instructions, just get the jab on him. So I expect Derek James to instruct Anthony Joshua, listen to me. Listen to me. You're going to go out there, you're going to use the jab and box. And when the opportunity arises, I will let you know. That's what it seems like to me. Because Derek James has said, you know, when we see the opportunity, we'll take it. When I see the opportunity, we'll take it. But they still have to see that opportunity, which means Joshua's got to create that opportunity. Why was it Dillian White didn't go out there and try and steamroll Jermaine Franklin? Well, he got clipped with something. Like, Very cautious on how he was going about Jermaine Franklin. Very cautious. Very cautious. Was he trying things out? I remember one round, Dillian White got hit with that right hand through the middle. You see, he threw the overhand right, which stumbled Dillian White. Watch Dillian White when he goes back to the corner. He's looking across to Eddie Hearn saying, dang, this guy's tough. This guy's tougher than I thought he was. And I said to people that this guy, Franklin's dangerous. Joshua is not supposed to lose this fight. He was not supposed to lose the Andy Ruiz fight. He was not supposed to lose the Usyk fight for all intended purposes. AJ's a wrecking machine. He lost those fights. Poor game plans and planning. Where there's no vision, the people shall perish. Still wait and see what Mr. Bashir is saying. Right. I can see the fight going long because I wouldn't be surprised if he went the distance. AJ not stopped a under 40-year opponent in the last 8 years. Franklin looked solid chin, every chance of an upset. I don't rate AJ. So the thing is Anthony Joshua a myth? Or is he actually the real deal? That's something I would like people in the room. It's 30 people in the room. Please leave your comments in the comment section. Let's make this interactive tonight. Let's make this fun. You're just me ranting and raving. I want to hear your opinions as well. While I try and connect with Uncle Bashir. As soon as Hearn and Sky seen the pay-per-view numbers versus White, that was the end of Joshua's development. As soon as Hearn and Sky see the pay-per-view numbers versus White, that was the end of Joshua's development. Okay. Daisy May is... I can't see what you're saying there. What is that? I can't even see what the emoji is. Can't see what the emoji is. Let me... Are they upset? I can't tell. Ooh, a nasty cough there. Where'd that come from? Need to get some water. So people talk to me. Don't want to shut the show off. So, is Joshua optimum weight? Questions are, is Joshua optimum weight? What do you think of Joshua throwing 200 punches around? I'm not keen on it. How do you feel about Joshua, the potential of Joshua looking past Jermaine Franklin and the fact that they're training Joshua to prepare? Another thing, how does knocking out Jermaine Franklin prepare you to be ready for Tyson Fury? That does not make any sense whatsoever. If you're logical, Jermaine Franklin is what? 6'1", 6'2" at best, versus Joshua, who's 6'6". Different. Joshua's punching down when he fights Franklin. When he fights Fury, he's punching up. Different lengths, different boxing abilities, different personalities. Tyson Fury could talk to Joshua and beat him before he even got in the ring. Could do. Yo, Ingram, what are we going to do about all these boxing problems? Can't make the big fights anymore? No, we've got some big fights happening. Fulton's fighting Inoue. We've got Garcia versus Tank. I mean, you've got some fights coming. Every time I add an emoji to my sentence, it removes my message. What the F? Maybe don't use it then. Joshua needs to rebuild his identity again. He's gone back talking about being humble. I mean, it's a bit late for that after throwing the belts out and, you know, that the Black Lives Matter speech and all the other things he said, calling people clowns, and I don't know. It's not very humble, is it? The Ruiz matchmaking was DAZN's choice, not Hearn's, in my opinion. Look at the Brita that has been sacrificed to American fighters. Brits have been sacrificed to Mexican fighters lately. Well, I do believe it was Hearn's choice because on the table was Trevor Bryant. Trevor Bryant was the guy that was put in front of Eddie Hearn instead of after Jarrell Miller fell out. Right? I know that because I interviewed Stacey McKinley. Stacey McKinley said that Hearn did not want to do business with Don King. That's why he took Andy Ruiz, because Andy Ruiz was fat, overweight. And I said, That is the worst thing he could have done, is join and pick Andy Ruiz. You know the fight, I mean. Okay. Goes here. I think that's why Fury is swerving Usyk. He can't get in Usyk's head. He will never get inside of Usyk's head, but Usyk can get inside of his head. Usyk can get inside of Fury's head. Believe me, you can get inside of Fury's head because he's talking back to Fury. He's talking back to Fury. He's verbally abusing, like how Fury's been abusing people. He's going back and abusing Fury. And that is something different. Joshua seems all over the place at the moment and hardly ever fights, so you never know what you're going to get. He does still seem all over the place. AJ, too top heavy again. Wonder if this fight will end up being an upset win for Franklin. If they've miscalculated in the weight, if they've miscalculated in thinking that, if they've miscalculated, in other words, they've calculated on Franklin being the same Franklin that fought. Oh, I wonder who this is on the phone. Let's see. Uncle Bash. We're on the show and people would like to talk to you. Oh, Happy New Year, by the way. Happy New Year, by the way. I know, we've both been very busy, but yeah, I'll hook you up now. Yeah. I'm live. I'm live. Blah, 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 blah. Yes, you were saying? I'm live. You see? Uncle? Even that in the media, I'm covering for you. So we're live. So I'll send you the link. See you tomorrow. And that's how it works in boxing. That you're seeing the behind the scenes. So let's get Uncle Bashir in the house. Usyk already has Ingram. Fury is an emotional wreck in these negotiations. Yeah, that's it. Big up Ingram. Just watching now. Yeah, shout out to Simon Jordan. The standard of boxing media went so low that when Simon asked basic questions, he's seen as harsh. That's what I'm saying to you. Simon Jordan, as Gareth A. Davis calls him, what do you call him? The Cape Crusader. And you know, you probably thought that overnight. The Cape Crusader of boxing. Well, boxing needs Cape Crusaders when you've got poor interviewers. Sorry. And they're not interviewers. They are puppets on a string with microphones. Puppets on a string with microphones. That's what they are. Gareth A. Davis is such a clown, fake-ass rock star wannabe who looks like he went to a posh boarding school. He earns the dick of DKSAB. Yeah, well, you know, Simon Jordan really shut him down because he said he looked like something out of Shawadi Wadi. So, yeah, when he said that, the look on Gareth A. Davis' face is mortified. These guys need to be held accountable. And for years, they've not been held accountable. In this year, you're all going to get held accountable. Even Tony Bennett to his face got told, you're an AJ fanboy. And he went, well, how can I be considered an AJ fanboy? And he said, look at the way you look at Anthony Joshua. So, yeah, I'm glad. Matchroom's paid bot accounts was out in full force and TalkSport chat and comment section. Yeah, I've had them in my house as well. I've had it off. It goes here, not to go off topic, Ingram, but when's your next cricket stream? Would love your thoughts on the Ashes of the Summer. I'm going to start doing that as well. Yeah, just subscribe to my channel. Let me put it out there now very quickly because I'm going to get that out there very quickly. That's the channel. Get yourself subscribed to it. And while you're getting yourself subscribed, let me get Uncle Bashir in the house. This is the man who I believe should have been training AJ from the start. And when I mean start, I mean the start of his career. I mean, to think about it, AJ had yes. AJ had Bashir training him when he was in the camp with Vladimir Klitschko. So you tell me how the hell you move from that, from a professional setup. Gareth Davis said Eddie Bridges was on Muhammad Ali's level. Jesus Christ. What the hell happened to Adam Smith? Don't know. Good. Thanks, Ingram. Yeah, Simon. Great sport, all these Matchroom company men. Good. Watching the stream from the beginning, Ingram just got in. So glad Simon Jordan came in. He's a breath of fresh air. He's a breath of fresh air because the air in the media in boxing stinks, but I've been saying it a long time. My words are coming back now. It's good. Finally, someone with a big platform to hold these jokers to account. Well, it'll be interesting to see. 32 people in the house. Why not invite Alexander Usyk's former trainer? Why not invite into the house the man that Anthony Joshua brought into camp and decided not to use? Can you believe? Can you believe it? You had... it just upsets me every time. But anyway, he paid for that. He got beat by Usyk the second time. There we go. Just sending the link into Uncle Bashir. So we're just waiting for Uncle Bashir to join the house. Let's see what people are saying in the comment section. Guys here, you see how Hearn tried to shut down channels like yourself for asking real questions. No BS. Yeah, he tried and he failed. If Franklin avoids big punches first 5 rounds, AJ could easily be beaten as AJ will tie on his highest weight ever. It's his highest weight ever. I was just saying, that may not have been the plan. They may have planned to have AJ be that weight so that they looked at Franklin and thought, he'll be that weight. So Franklin shook them when he came in as light as he's been. And you can't just suddenly lose that weight now. You can't lose that weight now. He's like that bulk. You can't lose that weight. So I don't think that weight was the plan. Sim should be investigated. Their fighters all look juiced. Very interesting. Sim should be investigated, all look juiced. It's not the first time I've heard those accusations. Right, we're just waiting for Uncle Bashir to join us in the house. When we do big fights, particularly heavyweight fights, it's nice to go big. And you don't get any bigger than having Uncle Bashir in the house. So we're just waiting for Uncle to sign in. And then I'll let him do all the talking. Uncle has been busy away, working on some good things. I won't talk any more about it because it's not my place to say. That's all I'll say. But your man's in the know. I got AJ winning the first half of the fight. White is terrible and Franklin struggled with him. I think the weight loss will remove his damage capacity. Okay. Also, Hearn said he's had squeaky bum at Franklin. He said the same about Eric Molina, and AJ dispatched him in 3 rounds. LOL. Yeah, but you can't compare Eric Molina to Franklin, can you? Eric Molina fights 2 ways. Eric Molina, I said to you, in the first 30 seconds, you'll know if Eric Molina's come to fight. If Eric Molina comes to fight, he fights off the front foot. If Eric Molina don't come to fight, he fights off the back foot. I said in the first 30 seconds, you're going to know what Molina's coming. Watch how Molina fought Fabio Wardley. He was on the front foot and he rocked Wardley. Look how he fought against AJ. First 30 seconds, he's backing against the ropes. So, you know. Yeah, so it's all right. Hearn can say what he wants. But here we go. Here we go. Enough of me talking. Uncle Bashir, your mic is muted. Unmute your mic. Can't hear you. Unmute your mic. Your mic is muted. Unmute your mic, Uncle.
Okay.
Ah, it's good to see you. Let's just bring you in. Let's get you in the camera.
Okay.
Get my ugly face off the camera and get you in the camera. Ah,
Okay.
wow. So, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah. All right. I'll take that.
Are you
What's
frozen?
happening?
Are you frozen? Are you telling me? I think your screen's frozen for the minute.
On my end, it's not.
Ah, there you are.
On your end, okay.
No, from your end, look like you're
Huh?
freezing up. Are you there? Let's see.
Yeah. On my end, everything looked good.
Yeah, you're breaking up. That's not good. You're not fluid. I don't know why that is.
All right. Let me
fix,
go
see
out
if I
and come
can
back
fix
here.
some things here.
Okay.
Okay.
Want
Try
me to
that.
go out?
Try and
All right.
yeah,
go
hold
on.
on. Yeah, no, you have to go out and come back in.
All right. Okay.
Uncle Bashir will be back. So let's keep asking you questions. How do you think former BWTM guest Isaac Dugbear performs tomorrow? Don't know. I haven't followed Dugbear in a while. Yeah, I haven't followed him in a while. I'll say as much as that. Salam, Uncle Bashir. I hope all is well. Age advantage. For Franklin, AJ got worse for certain since AJ knocked him out. Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, as a coach, I would say to you, in a coach's term, I want to know what the inner script of AJ is. Now, this is where we're talking level 3. I want to know what the script of AJ is. I want to know what his script is. What's he think inside? What's really going on inside? Yeah, I think we're better now, Uncle. I think we're better. Yeah, we're good. We're good. And you sound better as well.
Okay.
Let me just fix this here. Let me just fix something here. Right. Now that you're in the house, we're going to change things now. Hold on, Uncle. And we're going to membership mode. Okay, let's bring you in the house and we'll start again. Good. Uncle, are you there?
I'm here.
Fantastic. So we'll start again. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah, right back at you.
So how have you been? I mean, the last time I think I saw pictures of you in hospital.
Yeah.
So people were concerned.
Yeah, I was cervical disc, in the gym doing something. I don't know what I did, but I knocked some of my disc out, and it was leaning against my nerves, so that was bothering me for a little bit. But thank God it's all right now.
Wow.
Yeah, that.
I'm glad to hear it. Better.
Oh man, that sciatic nerve and those anything leaning against your nerves is a painful thing, and I had to tolerate that for about 2 weeks, and it was hurting me bad. When I got over it, thank God.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better, which is a positive.
Yes,
certainly for boxing.
Yes.
Sure, you've seen a lot of things that have been going on in the world of boxing. Joshua with a new trainer, heaviest ever, throwing 200 punches around. What are your thoughts, first of all? It'd be interesting to hear what you think about this. Joshua's throwing more than 200 punches around. Tony Belly saw him in camp and he's throwing 200 punches around. What are your thoughts on that?
Like I said, if he's throwing 200 punches around, I'm saying what Bruce Lee said. When you're throwing punches at nothing punches back. We have to see him throw those 200 punches around when he's in the battle, when the heat of the battle. In my opinion, I mean, I'm not putting nobody down, but he's gambling with his career because he's like everything is a test for him. He had Angel Fernandez, he had Garcia, he had Robert McCracken. Everything is like a gamble. You know, and Derek has never trained a heavyweight before, has he?
No, he hasn't. But he's a heavyweight. Derek James actually had a heavyweight career. He retired 13 years ago.
Yeah, I understand, but he hasn't trained a heavyweight. Being a boxer is one
No, he
thing,
hasn't. So
and being a trainer
absolutely,
is a whole different.
absolutely.
It's a whole different look, man. And I think that
I've stated that. I've stated
he's
that.
just gambling.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's just gambling. You know, he's gambling. You know, look. When we all know that the Rolls Royce, the Mercedes Benz, you know, the Lexus, we know these cars are good cars. These cars have a reputation. Invest in reputations, man. You got to get, oh, man. You know, I mean, I think that he could do well against Franklin, but I think Franklin could do well against him, too. You know, so it's a weight. It's an iffy thing. I think that if Franklin can stay in the saddle for the first 5 rounds, I think he has a chance, you know? I think he has a chance.
You're breaking up again. I don't know why. Uncle, you're breaking up. You're breaking up a lot. I don't know why the connection's really bad, but you're breaking up a lot.
I don't know.
I can hear you, but you're kind of glitchy sort of when you're talking. I don't know why that is.
It's clear on my end. I can't.
Let's try and do this with. Let's try and do this. Let's try and do this without the mic. Let's try and do this without the cameras on. Let's see if that works. Let me see if I can. If I maybe turn my camera off. All right, now try.
Is it staticky now?
No, you're still breaking up. It's still breaking up really badly.
Okay, maybe I can turn my camera off.
Okay, try and turn your camera off. See if that works.
Okay, I'll try to turn the camera off here. You got me doing this here. Okay, mic, camera. All right, I turned the camera off.
Okay, now if we do that, now go ahead, Uncle.
I think that there's a lot of just test runs, test runs. And it's so far it hasn't turned out well for Anthony Joshua, because everybody's getting a test run, and every fight is an important fight for him.
They're experimenting with Anthony Joshua. Every fight.
I still can't believe that he went to the second fight with Robert Garcia and with Angel Fernandez. Angel Fernandez is a nice man, and he's trying. But you cannot substitute wisdom. You cannot substitute application. You cannot substitute experience. All right? You don't want to play those kind of games with important fights. You got Alexander Usyk in the ring with you. You don't want to play no games. You don't want to be in there guessing. I just don't understand it. I just don't. It's beyond me. It's beyond me.
So, I mean, Derek James is an accomplished trainer in the lower weight divisions. It's his debut as a heavyweight trainer. So
he's an accomplished trainer with Earl Spence. All right, and
Jamel Charlo.
And Charlo, he's an accomplished trainer with those. But you gotta look at what he's working with.
Yeah.
He has something to work with. You're not putting a Volkswagen in a race versus the Mercedes Benz. You got 2 Mercedes Benz that you're putting in a race against other Mercedes Benz. Desire, Will, those guys got those tools that push them across the line. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I think this is shaping up to be a good fight. Franklin fighting with the promoter is not a good look, but I've seen stranger things.
Is that stuff sometimes in boxing used to distract the fighter? Because it's happened on the week of the fight.
Yeah, it could act as a distraction.
Yes,
it could act as a distraction.
Because he looks to me. Who am I? But he looks very much in shape. very much determined, and he's talking that way of a guy that means business. He's coming to take something that technically, or in the eyes of the UK and of the zone, doesn't belong to him, which is to beat Anthony Joshua.
Right.
So to distract him would be the best thing to do.
Modern boxers is a bunch of BS, because I still think that the southpaw that he beat for the original title, what's his name?
Charles Martin handed the belt over.
Yeah, he just handed it over, and then he just disappeared.
This is what I said. This is what I said. He got paid off, and then he went. Remember, he went crazy.
Yeah,
he went crazy, and then he came back and sorted himself out, and suddenly he had the will to fight again.
I think that Charles Martin wasn't consistent after the Joshua fight. He disappeared for about 3 years.
Yes.
You know, when I expected Charles Martin to be right back in the grind.
Well, why would you come? But wait. Why would you get right back in the grind if you've been paid a significant amount of money that you don't have to fight? He got paid a significant amount of money.
Well, that was the assumption of a lot of people. We don't know that, you know, but that was the assumption of a lot of people, that he was paid off just to go to Britain to lead a title there, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Well, he got paid handsomely, and you know when you give a fool money, what happens? I'm not saying Charles Martin's a fool, but the analogy is where if you give a money to a fool,
well, he just didn't live up to expectations. The young man has some tools that to work with.
Yeah, of course he has.
And he still has tools to work with, you know?
Yeah, but Charles Martin has an element of ignorance about him as well, to be fair, Uncle. An element of ignorance. So his mindset with these guys, a lot of these guys, it's their mindset. It's not so much their boxing ability, it's their mindset and how they view themselves and how they view themselves in the professional world and the realm that they're in. You understand? Like, I'm a boxer. Yeah, but you need to be more than that. Yes, you can fight, but you need to be more than that. Oh, I'm the former heavyweight champion of the world. Yeah, how did you lose your title? Yeah, but it don't matter. I got paid a lot of money, so I'm about the G's. If you're about the G's, you're not about being you're about getting the money. You're not really about the glory. Do you understand? And if you've got that sort of attitude, coupled with some ignorant behavior, then these things can happen. And look what he did after he got beat by Joshua. Look at the behavior he had after that. He unraveled. How did he unravel? Why did he unravel? Or was that always in him in the first place? And all it did was the money was exposed.
You know, like I said, you know, he didn't turn out the way I thought that he would. I thought that by the loss that he lost with Joshua, I thought that he would turn around and let that be a fuel, an injection for his career. That he said, look, I need a chance at this thing, and the next 2-3 opponents, I'm going to beat them. And that didn't happen.
He was doing all right against Luis Ortiz until Luis Ortiz set him into the phantom zone with that left hand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because he was standing there. He was asking for it.
Yeah. Well, switch off.
Asking for it.
Yeah,
but he was beating Ortiz. He was beating him.
Yeah, but your mind's not in the game. Your mind's elsewhere.
And
you get caught.
He showed that he had good skills.
Yeah, but the consistency, Uncle, and the mental approach. The mental approach. But what let him down in the end?
Oh, man, you got no idea. You got no idea. You know, like, I'm working with a young man now, and I won't go into divulge his name or anything, but I'm working with a young man now.
Uncle, I'd rather you didn't. Just let's not even talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
Okay, well, still, it's a couple of young men I'm working with. And those young men, I'm working with these young men because they show me will. They show me desire. They show me attention.
Yeah, but
they show me respect.
All of that stuff you're talking about still comes back to what I said: mental attitude, mental approach, approach. You can have the physical tools all you want if you're mentally engaged.
Then there's a lot of young guys I'm working with, and these guys are 25 and 30 and 32 and 33, and they want to come and tell me what to do, and I say, okay, thank you, but no thank you. I'll see you around. I shake hands with them, and I go my separate way.
You know, there's mentally there's uncle. There's mentally engaged, there's mentally disengaged, and those guys are mentally disengaged because they feel they're more educated than you. Well, that's what they call wisdom's wasted on youth, huh?
They don't feel like they're more educated. I mean, they know they're not, but they use that
Ego.
Ego. This is the
There
way.
you go.
This is their justification for failure.
But
they use that as a justification for failure.
But does that not come staying back to the Anthony Joshua situation? I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, not like just before you.
When is the Joshua fight? This weekend?
Tomorrow. April 1st.
All right.
Or what we call it in this country, April Fool's Day.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna say it.
So tell me, Uncle. Let's talk a little bit more about this Joshua situation. Why is it that Anthony Joshua, in his previous 2 defeats, one to a southpaw, one to an orthodox, struggles with fighters that are smaller than himself?
I don't know.
Is that a technical thing?
I just think that at one time he was so dominant, but then once Ruiz got to him, it kind of shattered his aura, his stability. You know, I just think that, I don't know, sometimes I just think that he's so confused with the little guys that he can't get off. He just can't get off. They call for him to retire if he loses this fight.
I don't like to hear a fighter even come up with words like I'll retire. He said it because he was fed up of the media or fed up of answering the media's questions. I said that word should not be coming out your mouth in any way, shape, or form. And any trainer,
you gotta have thick skin when you're dealing with the public. You gotta have thick skin. You're getting a lot of money, so people gonna scrutinize and criticize.
Of course they are.
You gotta be able to take it.
Okay, so I always like to. I'm not having a dig at Derek James because I love Derek. He's my brother. He's my man. But what would an Uncle Bashir, what would Uncle Ali Bashir do with Anthony Joshua coming in against Jermaine Franklin? What differences would you make? Because we can say fantasy now because,
first of all, I'd have him start fast.
Okay.
I'd have him start fast. I wouldn't just let him be casual in there. I'd have him start fast behind a good, stiff, respectful jab. Right? That's the first thing. And when I say get on that jab, I mean get on that jab. Everything above the waist, I want him punching it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And when Franklin tries to counterpunch or either launches any kind of attack, I'd have Joshua to go right back to him, impose his will on him. Like I would have had him do a lot of fights. Impose your will. That means that you're going to have to take chances.
You see, but again, we come back to mentality. Lennox Lewis was very good at imposing his will, but he was one of them guys that was mentally strong outside the ring and inside the ring. So when you're asking a person to impose their will, mentally, Lennox is strong enough to say, I'm going to impose, I'm physically strong enough to do it, but I mentally visualize myself dominating you. Is Anthony Joshua the type of guy that will sit back and visualize himself dominating an opponent? From what you know of Anthony.
I think when he started out, he was better off than what he is now. A lot of things has happened since then, you know.
Yeah, but is that a myth though? Because I mean, like people call him a bruiser, he was knocking guys out. Is they saying that Anthony Joshua that knocked out or who beat Klitschko would have been the guy to beat Usyk? But I disagree because that Anthony Joshua was inexperienced. Yes, he was a big puncher and he was knocking guys over, but the guys who was knocking over was C, D, E, and F class.
Yeah.
So are you suggesting that Anthony Joshua would have beaten Alexander Usyk that beat let's say who beat Derek Chisora? Could that Anthony Joshua beat that Alexander Usyk, or even Alexander Usyk that you trained to beat what's his name?
No, I don't think. I think that Usyk's style is all wrong for Anthony Joshua. His style is all wrong for him, you know. And Joshua gives way to make it all wrong for him because he does not do the things that you need supposed to do against a style like Usyk. He's waiting back. He's trying to box. He's trying to pick spot shots here and there. In the meantime, he's losing the fight.
They're saying, oh, if Anthony Joshua had come out like the bruiser he was when he fought Dillian White, he would have stopped Usyk. And I totally disagree with that because there would be more opportunities.
I don't believe that nobody will stop Usyk until I see it. Usyk is too well prepared mentally and physically, so I won't believe that nobody can stop Oleksandr Usyk until I see it. When I see it, then I can say, "Oh yeah, he stopped him." But I don't see nobody in boxing right now that can do that. No.
Joshua comes into this fight. I didn't see the weights, but Joshua comes into the fight is heaviest ever. Can somebody please give me the weights of Anthony Joshua? If you're listening to this, please give me the weights for this. Joshua's coming as heaviest ever, and he's very top heavy. He says that it's the nutrition and the training he's doing. That's why he's got so big. So that's what he says. What are your thoughts on this? Anthony Joshua coming in his heaviest ever against Jermaine Franklin.
I think that he's going to try to bang it out with him. That he's going to try to bully him. You know, he's going to try to push him back, bully him, and get him out of there.
I hear a lot about process.
That's the only advantage that it could possibly be. Coming that heavy.
That's what I'm thinking, because it's not going to help him in the second half of the fight, is it?
No, it's not. That's why I said if Jermaine Franklin can stay in the saddle for 5 rounds, he has a chance.
I want to also ask you the question about weight loss. A guy like Jermaine Franklin, he says he wasn't in the best shape when he fought Dillian White, and he put on a very good performance. A lot of people said that he beat Dillian White. Do you think, or not do you think, more the question would be, what's the effects of a heavyweight when they lose such amount of weight in terms of durability, speed, movement? Does it affect a fighter?
Yeah and no. You know,
okay.
It comes back to the mentality of the fighter.
Okay.
When they apply the weight or when they just subtract the weight, they have to know what they're doing emotionally, mentally.
Okay.
Technically, they got to know why they're gaining weight or why they're losing weight.
Process.
You can't just do something. Yeah, you can't just do something and expect to get positive results. You got to know what you're doing when you do that. There, say I'm losing the weight because this is what I want to do. I'm gaining the weight because this is what I want to do, and you got to stick to that.
People, I hope people are listening in the room when we're talking about process. So when you're talking about, let's say Franklin at 230 getting hit by AJ, and then Franklin at 215 getting hit by AJ. What's the difference? Is it because he's lighter, he's more likely to fall over? Or because he's lighter, he's less likely to get hit with the same impact of the shot? Your thoughts?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Because if you're lighter, I'm thinking if you're lighter, you're more agile, you're more able to get out the way of the shot quicker because you're lighter. But if you're heavier and you take the shot, you've got more weight to hold the shot. Is that myth or is that true?
It's true for the concerned mentality. The mentality is what's going to motivate the fighter to be in the fight, to duel with the opponent, to duel it out with the opponent. But if you're just there and you just got weight or you subtract the weight and you don't know why you did it, then it's not going to work well for you. It's not going to work well. It's not going to pan out.
Okay, how well do you know the Franklin team?
I don't know.
Do you know his trainer? Jesse?
No.
His name's Jesse. You don't know his trainer?
No.
But he's been He's been his trainer for the beginning of his career. So,
well, at least he's used to the training, so you know.
okay. So both Joshua and Dillian White are came into the fight against Franklin with new trainers. Dillian White had Buddy McGirt, and now Joshua's got Derek James.
Listen, you can have grandma crackers in there if you want to. If you don't know what you want to do inside that ring, you're in trouble. You know?
Grandma crackers. Uncle, you
know?
do come up with some statements. Grandma crackers.
You know, you got to know what you want to do inside the ring. You got to visualize yourself in the fight long before the fight even occurs. You know? I mean, Muhammad Ali did that better than anybody.
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali did that better than anybody because he was coming to fight.
Derek James says that they're stripping it back to the basics, and he's talking about, well, you know, we're gonna soften him up, and then we'll look to take him out. When I see there's an opportunity, then we'll take him out. But it seems that Joshua's talking about the process. You might want to try some new things, just like Dillian White was trying a few things and got clipped.
Yeah, well, you know, we're going to see it tomorrow. That's for sure. We're going to see tomorrow.
Can you also explain to me the process of if he knocks out Jermaine Franklin devastating style, that means he's ready for Tyson Fury? Can you explain that to me? Because they don't even fight the same way.
No. That does not mean he's ready for Tyson Fury. That just means that he had a knockout over Jermaine Franklin.
Thank you very much.
The Tyson Fury is a whole different story. A whole different story.
Can you explain to boxing fans why that is?
Why the scenario of him knocking out Franklin?
No. If he knocks out Franklin, people say, yeah, get on the phone tomorrow and call Tyson Fury because Joshua is back. Well, I know that's a whole of BS, but again, you're the elite trainer.
Well, you know, if you make the comparisons, that Franklin is not in the same class as a Tyson Fury. He's not in the same class as a Tyson Fury. And I'm not saying that to talk down on Franklin. He's just not on that level. And if he knocks out Franklin, if he beats Franklin, it doesn't mean nothing in the front office. In the front office, he just won the fight. And the people are gonna say, you needed to win the fight. You needed to win the fight. You know, that's what they're gonna say. Going to Tyson Fury is a whole different story. And a fragile Anthony Joshua is not going to beat Tyson Fury. Not the Anthony Joshua I've seen fight in the last 3-4 fights. No, they can't beat Tyson Fury.
No chance.
It's always a chance, but a slim and none. And as they say, slim is out of town.
Why?
I'm looking at the performance between two fighters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Joshua's last four performances, and I'm looking at Fury's last 4 performances. That's why. That's why.
Is Joshua in the prime of his career, or is he in the decline of his career?
We'll know after tomorrow night. We can make a better assessment after tomorrow night.
What are you expecting to happen tomorrow night, as opposed to what should happen tomorrow night?
I expect Joshua to win the fight. You know, I think that he'll win the fight, and I think he'll win a unanimous decision. I don't think that he's gonna knock the guy out. I think Jermaine Franklin is prepared enough to go the distance with Joshua.
Does Joshua hit hard enough to knock him out of one shot?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I believe he does.
There's something that Derek James said about Joshua. He says he needs him to put some dick on that shot, the right hand. Put some dick on that right hand.
He needs to do what?
Put some dick on the right hand. In other words, he's saying put something behind that right hand. Really put something behind it, don't just throw it.
He could do that with the jab as well. He could do that with the jab as well, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not revelation. Everybody says the same thing. Everybody says the same thing. What I said originally, before Joshua lost, before Deontay Wilder lost, if Joshua could go in there with a Sonny Liston mentality, he's much bigger than Sonny Liston. Much bigger than George Foreman. And probably stronger, and probably is harder. But what we was overlooking was the fact, the mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That was the absence. That was the absenteeism part of the whole analogy.
But is that not the Frankenstein theory? Almost that, you know, he's big, he's strong, he's powerful. If you allow him, but if you tap the chin, or if you get close, you'll collapse or malfunction.
Confidence is a big thing for boxers.
Of course,
confidence is a big thing in any sport, especially boxing. Sonny Liston was just so confident with his movement when he came forth, when he was in his pose coming forth this man, he was so confident that I'm going to get you, you know? I don't know if Joshua has that.
Well, his actual promoter was talking about how he was telling Joshua, you know, that he's got the power to stop Franklin, you know, and he's leagues above Franklin. If your promoter
he's got the power to stop a lot of people. But having the power and then going back to the mentality and executing the power is two different things.
He also talks a lot, Josh was talking a lot about the money. And he also made a statement which really concerned me. He said, even if Franklin kicked my ass, I'm still going to fight Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury needs me. How can a fighter even make that statement? Even if Franklin kicks my ass, you actually visualizing and the potential of you getting your ass kicked by Franklin. I mean, how is that even allowed?
His own worst enemy.
He said it in American. He said, you know, even if Franklin kicked my ass, I'm still gonna come back and fight Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury needs me. And that sounds like a man that's money motivated, not glory or legacy motivated. That's what it seems to me. I could be wrong, but that's not the way I saw the greats talking. The greats would say, it's me or him. That's it. And it's going to be him, not me.
That's not cool. That's not cool. That's not cool.
So he's even contemplate the fact. A lot of fans will listen to this and will think I'm overanalyzing things. It's not overanalyzing. As a coach, there's certain things you expect your players to, your athletes to say and not say. You know, your athlete has always got to visualize himself being the best they possibly can be and being successful in every scenario possible. And it is the fear of losing or the fear of failure that drives them beyond what they would normally do and put them to that next level when they in training. I could be wrong about that, but that's the kind of way I see it. How do you see that, Uncle Bashir?
The same way. The same way. It's not many ways that you can observe that.
Boxing fans will criticize me and say, I'm thinking too deep about this. Well, how am I meant to think? This is the way I've been coaching 25 years of my life. This is the mentality of success. It's us. It's us or you. And we don't want it to be you. You know, so we want you to be the one losing, not us. So we, coach included, we have to go. Well, we have to go to places where we don't particularly want to be to get what we've never had before if we've never won a trophy before, for example. So you've got to put yourself in uncomfortable positions to be successful. You cannot remain in a comfortable position and then expect to perform in an uncomfortable environment. I don't get that. But maybe it's just me, Uncle. Maybe it's just me who's crazy. And maybe there's another way of doing this all that I haven't worked out or you haven't worked out yet.
Well, time will tell. Time will tell.
I mean, Derek James.
He's under the magnifying glass.
Again.
All right, he's run out of chances. He's got to put his foot down and take Jermaine Franklin out of that ring tomorrow night. Take him out. He could go the distance, but he needs to go out there and try to take him out. He needs to go out there and impress.
Uncle, if he goes the distance with Jermaine Franklin, what does that tell you?
Well, like the Jamaicans used to say, "In comes soon, man."
Oh, dear.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine Lennox. I can imagine Lennox Lewis somewhere in Jamaica sitting and going, you know, that man called me a clown. I got one word for him. Undisputed, baby. Undisputed.
That's right. Against a better crop of fighters.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Against a better crop of fighters. You know? Lennox was undisputed against a better crop of fighters.
Absolutely. What do you make of Anthony Joshua's U-turn of saying, well, he didn't rate American trainers and he didn't, and everything's in the UK. Now he's turned around and saying, and he also said he's not about. Let
me just get something straight here. Yeah. What makes the UK think that they have a myriad of good trainers? I don't think so. From my observation, I have observed, and yes. I don't see those guys as being great trainers. Yeah, most of them got milk still around their mouth. What are you talking about, great trainers? I mean, most of them is just coming out the chute. What are you talking about, great trainers? Who? Bring Dominic. What's Brendan's son? What's his name?
Dominic Ingle.
Yeah, Dominic Ingle.
Adam Booth.
McGuigan.
What about Ben Davison?
Ben Davison. Well, where did those guys come from? Those guys still got milk around their mouth. So how could they be great trainers?
Because the British media say they are.
Oh,
and
bullshit.
Whatever the British media say has to be true.
They have a bunch of wannabe guys that's trying to make stardom with the fighters. And all of a sudden, these guys are great. And these guys are what, 35, 40 years old at best? No, it takes time to be a great trainer. It takes years and years and years and years of a great trainer and being in an atmosphere where you with great fighters.
Yeah, yeah.
But these guys is coming in, chiming down. And Britain, I mean, what great trainers? What have they done great? What have they done great? They're not old enough. They haven't put the time in on the floor.
Well, Davidson will say he's training an undisputed heavyweight champion, undisputed champion in Devin Haney. Is he training Devin Haney now?
Ah, please. Please. You know, I mean, these guys, you're in a great instance. You have an instance, but greatness comes through longevity,
consistency at the top.
You understand?
Yes.
When you've repeated your act, repeated the act, repeated. Everybody can get one guy, but when you have a consistency, when they say he's done it again, he's done it again, he's done it again, he's proven himself, he's proven himself, he's proven himself. Everybody wants to be a great trainer. Everybody wants to associate themselves with being a great trainer. And most of the guys in boxing right now haven't paid their damn dues. They haven't paid their dues. What do you mean great trainer? Great trainer how? Get the fuck out of here, man. Come on. Don't make me. I get pissed off when they say great train. Who in Britain is great trainers?
You didn't hear me say it. You've never heard me say great.
There's nobody
Great.
great in train. I've seen who's in America is great trainers.
The Brendan Ingle was what I'd call a great trainer because he did it over with various champions, and he also won British, Commonwealth, European, and world titles. And he produced a lot of good fighters. Brendan Ingle. That's the one great trainer we had in the UK.
Who I had great respect for. I had great respect for him because he was a knowledgeable guy, knowledgeable application, consistently knowledgeable application.
Yeah.
And now look at the people that's there now trying to emulate him. They're not even close. They're not even close. What are you talking about? Great.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you something. If I ever cross over to the world of boxing, I want to make sure that whoever I'm learning from has got legacy and has got lineage. This is cricket. I've got lineage. So, you need to be around people who've got lineage. That's what I think. But that's just me.
Look, Devin Haney, he's fighting the old man. Yeah, he's fighting the old man. So hopefully he can go out there and make some kind of impression and win the fight. But if he struggles a little bit, that's going to diminish his luster, If he struggles a little bit. So he needs to go out there and make a statement with Lomachenko.
Yeah. Uncle, can I talk to you about the U word, please?
The U word?
Usyk.
Yeah, go
ahead. Negotiations between himself and Tyson Fury. There are some people that believe that Usyk's scared of Fury. Some people think that Usyk doesn't want to fight Fury. Some people think that Usyk thinks he's going to lose the fight. So, he just wants to make more money in a rematch. Talk to us about, you've trained Usyk. Talk to us about the Usyk mentality for a moment.
I think that Usyk has already came out. He said, look, I'm willing to take 70-30. Let's get it in. That was a statement within itself. He said 70-30. I'll take 70-30. Let's fight.
How do you view a fight between...
If I was negotiating for him, first of all, I would never take 70-30. No.
Okay.
But the fact is that he was willing to take 70-30 shows that he's willing to fight.
Okay. So, in your opinion, let's say you are training Alexander Usyk. Can Usyk beat Fury?
It's gonna be a tough climb to beat him. Because
why?
Fury knows how to box.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of reach. He knows how to use his weight. So it's a lot of things working in his favor, Usyk can slip and slide, stay to the side, but I'm just wondering, can he do that there over 12 rounds with Fury laying on him and also hitting him, I'm saying that his chances of beating Fury is slim.
What about, has he got the power to hurt Fury?
Yes, I believe so.
Also,
yes.
Fury, when he fought Cunningham, which he calls one of his toughest fights.
Right.
Cunningham, and he didn't look good against Otto Wallin. Okay, it's another southpaw. Then against Cunningham, he didn't look great. He got dropped by Cunningham.
Right.
Smaller heavyweight. He's never looked great against smaller heavyweights.
Isn't Cunningham a southpaw?
He's orthodox.
Okay.
But Otto Wallin was southpaw, and he gave Fury a hard fight. Does that not bode in Usyk's favor or not?
I mean, him being a southpaw naturally is going to be in his favor, but I just don't see Tyson Fury laying back waiting on Usyk. I think that he's going to take the fight to Usyk continuously, and he's going to try to lay on him. I don't know whether he's going to be successful, but that's definitely part of his plan to wear him down, putting all that weight on him,
Okay, Fury has size, length, jab.
Some boxes.
Now, if you take Nazim Richardson, if you take that height, weight, and bring him down to the same size, Usyk and Fury, who's the better boxer?
What you say?
Who's the better boxer if they're the same weight and the same height? Who's the better boxer?
Usyk.
Why?
Because Usyk uses angles where Fury don't use that many angles, especially with the small guys.
Okay. So then Bernard Hopkins would use Fury. He would say he would use Fury's weight and his height against him. That's what I would see, like Bernard Hopkins using that against Fury. Can you do that? Can you use Fury's height and weight against him with good footwork and setting traps that way, Uncle?
Long story short, Tyson Fury is not a stupid fighter. He knows when and how to use his height, reach his weight. He knows when to do it. He knows how to apply that.
Right.
You understand? He's not just a lump of meat standing there. He knows what to do and what not to do.
Right.
Right. And that's what's going to make it hard for him to be beat, because he's a big guy and he's doing that.
Right. Okay. So it's a very difficult fight for Usyk.
Yes. Yes,
And
I think it's the most difficult fight out there for him.
All right, let me throw this one at you. Usyk versus Deontay Wilder. Which one would you take? Fury or Wilder, and why? If you're advising Usyk.
Well, I think that he has a better chance of beating Wilder, because Wilder is still learning the logistics of boxing at this late stage of his career.
Right.
So the main thing that he has to do is avoid getting hit clean with his right hand. And I think that he can take a chance and outbox Wilder.
But Usyk is not exactly a defensive wizard, is he?
No, he's awkward.
If AJ can touch him, if AJ can touch him, if Chisora can touch him, if Witherspoon can touch him, well, I'm damn sure that Wilder will be able to touch him.
Yeah, but I think that he's going to be prepared different for Wilder, because he's got to know that he can't get hit Wilder. He can't get hit by Wilder. So he's going to be doing some extra footwork in that ring, trying to avoid getting hit.
Would you put your house on Usyk winning the fight on points?
I won't put my house on anything. You kidding? Shit. Are you kidding?
Eddie Hearn said that.
I don't think so.
Eddie Hearn said he doesn't believe that Wilder can land a punch on Usyk. I'm like, really? You only need to land one. In 36 minutes, he's got to land one punch.
That's not smart. That's not smart.
What do you think?
No, I wouldn't say that about Deontay Wilder. And Deontay and Malik has been working on different things, and something has to be rubbing off on him, even at this late stage of his career.
Yes.
Even at this late stage. His jab is not a bad jab, all right? His jab is not a bad jab.
Got a good jab, I think.
I wouldn't try. At this stage of the game, I'll teach him how to jab and work the right hand behind that jab. I wouldn't be going for the uppercut and the hooks and all of this stuff. I just teach him how to control the distance with the jab and look for any place to land the right hand.
I said that. I've said that early on tonight. I said that, heavyweight boxing is not about throwing a whole heap of punches. It's the basic punches and knowing when to throw them, when to engage, and when not to engage.
Shit, man, please give me a break.
200 punches around.
Give me a break. You get your head knocked off out there. messing with the media and all that stuff. Too much. Deontay Wilder can't hit you. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't want to put my head on the swivel so he can hit the man. No,
no chance. So in that Usyk fight, are you sure Usyk wins that fight, Uncle?
What fight?
Usyk versus Wilder.
No, I'm not sure, but I'm basically sure. I think that Usyk is a smart guy and too smart to be getting hit by Deontay Wilder.
But if he gets clipped by Wilder, what happens?
I think he can withstand it.
Wow.
He's been in there with some tough guys, big tough guys,
But not Deontay Wilder type punching, though. There's a difference.
Yeah, but Deontay got to land the punch. He got to extend the punch and land the punch, and that's not going to be easy. That's not going to be easy to do. It's not going to be easy to do.
Well, if Joshua can land, Uncle, the logic is if Anthony Joshua can land, if Derek Chisora can land, if Chaz Witherspoon can land, my God, Wilder must be able to land.
No, I think they're going to have on his dancing shoes that night. You know, he got to have on the dancing shoes. He don't let Wilder get no clean shots in there, because Wilder can hurt him instantly.
Eugene, how are we doing, brother? I hope that you're well. Uncle, Eugene said good evening to you as well, Uncle.
Yes, likewise.
Let me just do this quickly while you're still talking. Tell us your thoughts on Usyk after seeing him having 2 fights with Anthony Joshua now. Your thoughts of him?
I think that for today's boxing, he's at the top of his game.
Okay. Has he excelled in your eyes? Has he done what you thought he would do as a heavyweight, or do you think there's more to come from him? Because people say it's the best of Usyk is still to come. Is that true?
I don't know. I don't know the mindset behind his trainers. If I had a better look at his trainers, then I can say yes or no, but I don't know.
Okay. Another Ukrainian we need to talk about is Vlad Tsarenko, another one that's got injured. What's going on with Vlad Tsarenko?
He was supposed to fight Carlos Negron on the undercard to Plant Benavides, and he injured his arm. You know, it happens in sparring. It happens in sparring. You know, it happens in sparring, and that's what happened. He just injured his arm. I had to pull him out of the fight, but he was prepared to fight Carlos Negron. And
Can you remind us who Carlos Negron is?
Carlos Negron fought the Cuban the same night Deontay Wilder fought Hellenius.
Okay. And where would you rate that? Is that a step up, or is that a
I think Negron would have been a step up. It'd have been a step up because he's not a bad fighter.
Okay.
I don't think he'll be heavyweight champ, but he's not a bad fighter. You know, you go to sleep out there, he can beat you.
Okay, so it'd been a good fight. So that was a coming up party for Tsarenko.
Yeah, that would have been the best fight of Tsarenko's career, I believe, on paper.
Guess who joins us, Uncle? We have our Eastern European correspondent in the house, Eugene. Eugene, are you there?
Yeah, Ingram, I'm here.
Good. Uncle Bashir's in the house. Let you and Uncle Bashir talk. It'd be nice to hear what you got to say to Uncle.
So, we're talking about Tsarenko right now, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about, but you can talk about Usyk if you want as well.
Yeah, well, let's finish with Tsarenko, then we'll circle back to Usyk.
Okay.
So, there's something that I was talking to Ingram about last time we spoke. Is that Tsarenko hasn't fought for 2 years, I believe now, right?
Yes, we took the year off, leaving out of Ukraine, and because of his injury, it's going to put him further back.
I see. And in those 2 years, have you been in some camp sparring with people, or is that something you cannot talk about?
Yeah, we're always sparring, and we have plenty of sparring. We've been in numerous camps. He's not letting no grass grow on his feet. He's working.
Good.
Tsarenko's always an active guy. He understands that the time that he's been out, it's going to take some kind of effect on him. But he's still a young guy. You know, he's 28 years old, so he has time.
True that. And he's in America now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's plenty of sparring partners over there.
Yes, there is. We're boxing out of a gym in New York, cops and kids in Brooklyn, and there's plenty of action there. Plenty of action, you know. So it's not going to be short on sparring.
Yeah, one of Serenko's sparring partners is gonna be fighting Usyk, it seems like.
What?
Well, yeah, he sparred Dubar.
Oh, Dubai. I heard. Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah,
So
but
I heard the story.
said they're gonna
I-
give him some step aside money.
I heard that Usyk's team has signed Deontay Wilder. Is that true?
I have not seen any confirmation on that. It
I
would
heard
be
this-
a wild fight, but
They said that I heard that Wilder signed with Usyk's team, and so that fight could happen. I don't know how true
it
that
should
is,
happen in UK.
though. Okay.
Well, I don't know why the fights are so hard to make now. You know,
Well, it seems that it's only the fights that fighters
why-
don't want are difficult to make. I haven't, AJ fight happened easily, and all the other fights that Usyk has been having happened easily. It's just, we seem to run into the wall when we talk about the fights that we want, like Crawford, Spencer, and Usyk versus Fury.
Really, I think the public is exhausted with the Crawford Spence fight. They're at the point now where they don't even care. They don't even care,
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, because they're just sick. They're just sick and tired of it.
Now I'm hearing the fight may happen in June.
And the powers that be is like saying, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? You
Yeah.
can't get nothing done like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Serenko wanted this fight with Carlos Negron. He wanted to get in the fight. Serenko is dying to prove himself. He wanted to be in that fight. But as fate has it, he injured himself during sparring. And immediately I said, no, you can't go through the fight. Serenko's idea was, I'll take the fight anyway and I'll get through it. But I said, no, you can't do that. You can't risk injuring or agitating the injury more than what it is already. So just sit back. Let the doctors do their thing and you do your thing and we come back,
Yeah, it's good that he has you, because this whole debacle with Lomachenko started with him going into a fight injured and not having a rematch clause, losing, and now he just lost all momentum behind him. Right? He was moving
Well, that's something that I'm not going to ever do with my fighters. I'm never going to put my guys in a match unless they're 100%. If they're not 100%, then I'm not going to put them in the fight. I'm going to always warn them against them. I'm always going to caution them against taking the fight. When you step into a boxing ring, you've got to be 100%. If you're not 100%, it's a no. And I'm quite animated about it when I tell them that. I tell them, no, you can't do that. Despite the fact that you haven't been in 2 years, or no, it's only been a year. Right now, it's only been a year. It's only been 1 year since Serenko fought. 1 year and a couple of months. But if you have an injury, what are you going to do? It's not a death sentence for it, It's not a death sentence. You just got to heal. You got to be 100% before you step in the ring.
I'm just checking real quick. He fought Rudenko in December 2021.
Oh, that was Rudenko?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was that there? What was that?
December 2021. So that would have been...
So
Well, we're still in COVID.
So December was a year. So this December past was a year.
Yeah. So it's...
All right. So now we're moving towards 2 years. We got next December will be 2 years. So 1 year and some months out. But what you gonna do? If he's injured, he's injured. You just gotta wait for the injury to heal. Don't rush it. I told Vlad recently, I said, don't just sit back and wait. Let time heal it. You know, let
But
time heal.
during that time, has he improved, Uncle?
I think he has.
Okay.
I think he has. He's been in with a number of boxes. I think he has. And I'd like to see him box more boxes. You know,
Okay.
anybody that comes inside that gym, Sirico wants to spar. He wants to get inside the ring and spar. He wants to prove himself. So
Okay.
the clock is ticking, and we're going to see.
Okay. Do you want to ask any questions about Usyk?
Yeah, there were a few, and me and Ingram, we've been pondering about how the fight between Usyk and Tyson would happen, and one of the reasons why I'm sort of guessing why the fight didn't happen, even though it seems like it, well, sort of needs to happen one way or the other. It's gonna hang over both of their heads and their legacy if it doesn't. Um, I have a sneaking suspicion that Tyson is trying to age out Usyk.
Well,
You
both
know,
of them about the same age anyway, right?
no, Tyson is younger, almost 2 years, one and a
Uh-huh.
half years younger, and he's larger. And Usyk is the guy who comes with athleticism, stamina,
Right.
speed, reaction.
Yeah, I think they playing games. I think he might be trying to age him out, but I think it's a tough fight for Alexander Usyk. You know, and depending on the mentality of Tyson Fury, it could turn into a tough fight for him too.
Well, here's what we've been talking about. Whenever Tyson gets in a sticky situation, he covers up, and starts advancing onto his opponent, trying to walk him down. Now, the interesting question, and we cannot really say because we weren't the ones training him, is whether Usyk can stick to his game plan, essentially keeping it at a distance instead of allowing Fury to get on top of him and make the fight very
Well,
dirty.
that's what I was saying in England. I said I don't know who's training them. I don't know what their psychological makeup is like. So I don't know. It's a lot of ifs. You know, a lot of intangibles. So you can't say. It's going to be tough for him though. Fighting Tyson Fury. He's big. He knows how to use his jab. He knows how to box. He slips, slides. It's going to be tough for him. It's going to be tough for him. It's a tough fight.
What do you think about having a more uh, body targeted focus for Usyk against Fury? Because it seemed like those jabs to the body from Wilder were bothering him.
Yeah, he's built like a refrigerator. So yeah, I guess they will. Usyk is a powerful puncher. People don't respect Usyk's punching power, but he can punch. They said
Most of
no.
the people, most of the people that
Heavyweight.
don't respect his punching power are people that are in the media who've never probably taken a punching anger in their life.
Well, they have never been inside a ring with him when he's punching those pads. And I'm telling you, the guy can punch. He's strong and he's powerful. And if he lands any kind of overhand left or something, he can hurt you.
AJ seemed to have respected it.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And so Chisora, because he never walked him down.
Or walk through him, like the people saying that Tyson Fury is going to walk through Alexander Usyk. Do you think that can happen, Uncle?
I think that Tyson Fury is going to try to lay on him.
Yeah, I think smother him. Don't
I
let
think
him
he's going
move.
to try to smother him, lay
Cat and
on
mouse.
him, maul him, brawl him. That's what I'm thinking that he's going to do. To take away his legs early. He's going to try to maul him and brawl him, lay on top of him, do anything to take his legs away and make him a sitting target. if I were the Tyson people, that's what I would have them do. I wouldn't get out there trying to box with them and none of stuff. I'd just walk to them and try to get a chance to lay on them.
Okay.
They're talking about sacking Sugar Hill now.
Yeah, Sugar Hill, when asked about his commitment to Tyson Fury, said, "Well, I'm here training a coach, Lawrence Okoli. I've been training Lawrence Okoli since January. So I'm with
Who was
Lawrence
training
Okoli now.
Okoli before Sugar Hill?
Sugar Hill's training Lawrence Okoli since January.
Well, who was training him that did prior to the deal?
Shane McGuigan.
Shane McGuigan.
Yeah. And then I think, was it Shane McGuigan? And then before that was Angel Fernandez was working with Okoli, I think.
Lord have mercy.
So now Sugar Hill's training him. And Sugar Hill basically said, look, I'm here training Lawrence Okoli. I've been with him since January. This is March now. We're preparing to fight David Light. That's my responsibility. I'm not going to BS you and tell you I was doing something when I'm not. My responsibility and my priority is Lawrence Okoli. I'm a professional trainer. So now John Fury wants him sacked because he basically came out and exposed Tyson Fury for not training for the Usyk fight.
Right.
He wouldn't carry water for him.
The Fury, but yeah, because I mean, Fury's running. Look, we know Fury's running the show anyway.
Yeah.
You know, but the father wants Sugar Hill sacked. That's my understanding. That the father wanted to remove him.
Yeah.
Well.
Okay, if you're in that position, in that situation, and you say you're training, I don't know, fight you training. I don't know. You're training. I don't know. You're training James. You're training James DeGale. You're training James DeGale. No, you're training Chris Eubank Jr. for his next fight, and you've been training Chris Eubank Jr. since January. You come out Eubank's fighting in March, and your heavyweight Dillian White has got a unification fight with Alexander Usyk. And you say, well, my priority at the moment, I'm training James DeGale, and Alexander Usyk's not been training. What would you say? Would you tell the truth to the public and say you've not been training with Usyk? Or would you lie and say, yeah, we've been in camp with Usyk?
Yes, that's a catch-22 question.
That's
I mean,
what Sugar Hill was in.
If he's not training them, he said, right now my priority is Lawrence Okoli.
Uh-huh.
Meaning that, that me and Tyson Fury are not connected. And the father didn't like that, and the father wanted to put him down for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that his flight back was on March 27th or 28th, right? So there would have been no flight back if he was staying to train Tyson Fury.
The Usyk fight.
April 29th. So that's a no. I don't even think he mentioned anything about Tyson Fury. He just stated what he was there for.
Which was for Lawrence Okoli. He says, I'm a professional trainer. I'm not into all the BS.
So he just decided not to carry any water or wasn't in on it at all. Like
he decided not to carry any water. That's funny.
He's no water boy. So what do you think?
Yeah. It's a rocky relationship anyway. I mean, it's too iffy. Either you are or you aren't, When you
So what do you
you put yourself in a position for people to disrespect you if you allow that, I walk straightly to the fighter and say, make the deal, and if we got a deal, we got a deal. And if not, let me move on. I got other stuff to do.
So do you, in your opinion, if that was you, what would you have said? In that situation, what would you have said?
As far as why I was there?
Yeah.
I'm sure Sugar Hill made the assessment and said what he had to say because some friction probably was there from the very beginning before he said that. there was some friction. It was something that motivated him to say that, look, I ain't gonna BS you. I'm here for Lawrence Okoli.
I ain't carrying no water for no one.
So this might have already happened, you know.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Can Tyson Fury still be that dominant force without Sugar Hill in the corner?
Yeah, I think he can, because he dances to the tune of his own music anyway. Everybody knows that. I would assume by now everybody knows that.
So Sugar Hill doesn't have that much impact on Tyson Fury then?
No, I don't think. I mean, he said before he couldn't have won the fight without Sugar Hill. Maybe that particular fight, but
fight.
But everybody knows Tyson Fury dances to the tune of his own music. You know, so maybe he felt that Sugar Hill was essential in him winning the fight. That Sugar Hill maybe give him some injection of knowledge or enthusiasm to get him across the line to win the fight. Yeah. So, hey, but everyone knows that Tyson basically dances to the tune of his own music.
Okay. Do you have a message of hope for the people of Ukraine who are going to be backing Usyk in a fight against Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, or Daniel Dubois, or Joe Joyce for that matter?
I think they got a good investment in Oleksandr Usyk. He's a fighter. Mm-hmm. He's a fighter. He's a through and through fighter. You know, he's not a joke. He's a heavyweight champion of the world, and they got a good pick in him, good investment in him. Oleksandr Usyk is there to fight, and he's not gonna fold for anybody. You got to fight him. You got to fight him and do your best to try to knock him out, because he's not gonna fold. If they're waiting for Oleksandr Usyk to fold or falter, they'll be waiting a long time. They'll be waiting a long time, because I know the kind of guy he is. He's a proud fighter. He's a proud fighter, and he's going to be there to fight. I don't care who it is that they put in that ring.
Is he the greatest cruiserweight of all time?
I wouldn't put that label on him thus far.
Well, I mean, they say Evander Holyfield's the greatest cruiserweight of all time, but is it?
It could be. I know he's the most exciting cruiserweight of all time.
What about Dwight Muhammad Qawi? Oh, he was a light heavyweight, wasn't he?
But I'm saying the most exciting cruiserweight of all time thus far right now is Evander Holyfield. I mean,
what about David Haye?
No.
Oh, I got to throw the name in there because people will talk about David Haye.
Evander, if you look somebody, Evander Holyfield's Mr. Excitement when it comes to cruiserweights, because Evander Holyfield does not mind getting into a fight with anybody.
Okay, all right. So you would say he's still the greatest cruiserweight of all time?
Yeah, I'm gonna say that right now. Yeah.
Okay. And if Usyk and Holyfield were to fight at the peak of their careers at cruiserweight, who wins? Based on Holyfield's inability to do excellently well against boxers.
I'd pick Usyk, because Holyfield always has problems with guys that got boxing IQ.
Absolutely, and he didn't do well against Larry Donald. He didn't do well against Lewis with that movement. He doesn't do well against James Toney. Knocked him out. There you go.
Larry Donald,
Chris Bird.
Chris Bird. He just don't do well against slick boxers. And Usyk is so awkward. You know, you don't know what's going to come from Usyk. You know, so no, I pick Usyk to beat him.
So if Usyk beats him, then he's the greatest cruiserweight of all time, then, isn't he?
I'm saying Mr. Excitement, right? You know what I'm saying is that.
But wait. Excitement doesn't mean greatest, does it? I mean, excitement's what. I mean, Thomas Hearns was exciting to watch, but he wasn't the greatest welterweight, was he?
I'd pick Usyk to beat. I'd pick Holyfield to beat Usyk. I mean, Usyk to beat Holyfield.
Well, that's a contradiction, isn't it? Because you always say you basically say you're the greatest.
Look,
the greatest or the most exciting?
pound for pound, I pick Evander Holyfield for being the best cruiserweight of all time because of the competition and how he dispelled those competitions.
But Usyk did it on the road. He was a road warrior. He went into people's backyards and became champion.
Yeah, and he made it look relatively easy.
Okay, there you go.
But I just don't think the competition was the same.
Okay. Well, let's throw it this way then. Sorry about this, Eugene. But let me put it this way: if you put Holyfield in that same competition that Usyk went on to become undisputed, would Holyfield have been undisputed?
Are you kidding? Is that a trick question?
No, I'm asking. I'm setting you up, Al. Would you have become undisputed champion?
Do you think that Holyfield, if Holyfield had to fight the same ones that Usyk fought, I think he'd be undefeated? Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But hold on. This is the same Holyfield that lost to the likes of Larry Donald, Chris Bird, John Ruiz. Some of the guys he's lost to in his career, they weren't exactly all-time great boxers. Well, they were good boxers, but come on. I'm just saying.
I have a better question.
And then if you would you put
wait,
let
Eugene, it's enough of you right now, right?
Hold on.
Eugene.
Wait, hold on. If you put Usyk back in that era, the same era that you're calling Holyfield the greatest in, are you saying that Usyk wouldn't have beaten those guys then as well?
I think Usyk would have beat those guys.
So then, we just got to leave it to Usyk and Holyfield to fight one another. And you've already said that Usyk beats Holyfield. So how can Holyfield still be the greatest?
Holyfield is the greatest.
It's mythical. That's mythical stuff. That's mythical.
Because of the way that he did it.
Okay,
Usyk,
in that case,
Usyk was such a good boxer. He just made it look so ordinary and easy. You know, Holyfield brought a sense of danger to an element. You know, his elements was danger. He was always in a fight.
Because he was always right, because his skill level wasn't as good as Alexander Usyk's.
Yeah, Usyk made it look easy.
Because he had a better skill set.
Sometimes it was boring.
Because he was so good. Like Mayweather, right? Good. Like Mayweather, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Mike Tyson and
wait.
Eugene,
what you gonna say? Eugene, what you gonna say? Because we get out of here. Eugene, what you gonna say? I want to hear what you're gonna say.
So you and Usyk, you beat the record of Holyfield in cruiserweight and captured the title in 10 fights instead of 12, as did Holyfield. Right. But would you let Usyk fight Dwight Muhammad Qawi on the 10th fight?
Get him, Eugene. Get him.
Instead of Glowacki, you're fighting Dwight Muhammad Qawi.
Wait. Let me hear what. Hey, take it easy on it. Don't.
Get him.
Go ahead, Eugene.
It's 10th fight. You need to capture the title, and you're in Team Usyk. You fought Glowacki and you won, but if it was not Glowacki and it was Dwight Muhammad Qawi, would you let Usyk fight him on his 10th fight?
Yeah, I bet he wouldn't. All that talk, I bet he wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
Oh.
I wouldn't do that. No, hell no. I wouldn't have did that.
Right.
So there is a difference in fighters and eras, right?
I would have let Holyfield fight him in his 12th fight.
That's true.
Because, you know, the more I look back on that fight, I don't know whether Holyfield won that fight.
Wow.
I don't know if Holyfield actually won that fight. I think it was home cooking because it was in Atlanta, Georgia.
Wow.
When I look back on that fight was a close fight.
He won the second fight conclusively, though. There's no doubt about that.
Oh, yeah, that fight. But Qawi was mentally shot, man. He was done. He didn't want to fight.
Okay. Do you think Usyk beats Qawi the night Holyfield beat him? Based on the fact that Usyk has got better skill set than Evander Holyfield.
Yeah, I think Usyk beats him the same way Michael Spinks beat him.
Yeah. Okay.
Michael Spinks did a lot of, angles and darting in and darting out. So yeah,
Okay.
I don't see why Usyk would have had a problem beating him.
Spinks versus Holyfield.
Spinks versus Holyfield.
No, you notice how he's poor. You notice how Uncle Bashir's doing all the
I like
pausing.
Spinks. I like Spinks.
Typical trainer stuff there. Spinks, like pretend he didn't hear you. But he heard the question very well. You like Spinks?
I like
right.
Spinks in that. I like the Spinks in that one.
Spinks versus Usyk.
Oh man, that's a tough one. You got two awkward guys that can punch, you know. So I don't know how to pick that one.
But you know, Spinks would have beaten Holyfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not doing Holyfield any favors at the moment. So yeah, Usyk is the greatest cruiserweight of all time. Thanks for that, Uncle.
All right. Okay. I tell you, man, because Spinks was an awkward guy. He punched from all angles, and he could punch hard.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought that when he fought Mike Tyson, though, would you?
No, Mike Tyson was a fearsome animal in that ring. Spinks was scared that night. Spinks was afraid that night.
Holyfield beat Tyson. If Holyfield was in the ring the night that Tyson got beat by Evander Holyfield, could Usyk have done the same thing?
Muhammad Ali beat George Foreman, but George Foreman beat Kenny Norton, and Kenny Norton gave life and death to Muhammad Ali. So styles make fights.
Leon Spinks beat Ali in 8 fights. So what are we talking about here?
Just his night.
You see, Uncle's gone quiet again.
That was just his night.
I love you, Uncle. I do love you.
Spinks caught lightning in a bottle that night.
Yeah. That's why Mayweather calls himself the TBE.
Oh, God. Oh, please.
The best ever.
You know one thing that stands out of my mind the most?
What's that?
Is that Muhammad Ali, they took him 3 years and 8 months from his career. So we really never got to see Muhammad at his very best.
We could say the same thing about Mike Tyson, couldn't we?
No. I think that Mike Tyson, I think his best was between the ages of 20 and 25. And after that day, he was always steadily going downhill. And
after Customara died, you'd say?
Not right after he died, you know, but between 20 and 25, he was done.
Was all the partying and cocaine and drinking?
Yeah. No. Mike Tyson got himself to blame for that, there. Because Don King can't rip you unless you put yourself in a position to be ripped. And he put himself in a position to be ripped. So
all the money and all those women, and you'd never been there before. I mean, it's pretty hard to discipline yourself.
I think 20 to 25. You know, 20 to 25. That was Tyson's era. That was it. After that day, it was just a gamble. You don't know what he was going to do. You know.
Was it not a weak area of Mike? I know we're going off point, but was it not a weak area of Mike Tyson? Was he? I mean, you talked about Usyk's era being weak, but I mean, weaker than Holyfield's. But wasn't Mike Tyson's era weak?
Look, Mike Tyson. Look. The 2 fights with Razor Ruddock accomplishes everything to me, because that was life and death in them fights.
With a one-handed fighter.
Yeah, a dangerous one-handed fighter.
Okay.
A very dangerous one-handed fighter. Razor Ruddock hit you with one of them shots there, you might end up on the moon.
Does Usyk beat Tyson?
Like I said, styles make fights.
Yeah, that's not answering the question. That's just something you're saying, but you're not actually answering the question.
Yeah. That's very, very, very.
Okay.
Very...
Mike Tyson, before he went to prison, against any version of Alexander Usyk.
Say that again.
You know exactly what I'm saying, Uncle. Mike Tyson, before he went to prison, versus any version of Alexander Usyk.
I think Usyk outpoints Tyson.
Wow.
I think he outpoints him.
Okay.
All I'm saying, Usyk is not the easiest guy in the world to box.
Okay. And Holyfield. Mike Tyson, before he goes to prison against Evander Holyfield, any version of Evander Holyfield.
I think he knocks Holyfield out.
Wow.
I think he knocks him out.
Are you listening to this, Eugene? I hope people in the Ukraine are listening to this as well. I hope you document this very well and make sure you get Uncle Bashir word for word.
I think that he knocks him out.
Wow.
That Mike Tyson, timing was everything with Mike Tyson. Before he went there.
Apart from Spinks, who's the best fighter Mike Tyson knocked out?
I don't know about that. I'm saying.
That's a big question.
I think the Mike Tyson that fought prior to going to jail, I think he would have not gone. Holyfield would have gave him the knockout because Holyfield would have been all up on Mike Tyson, all up in his face. He got hit. At that time, you couldn't get hit with Mike Tyson. Not those kind of shots. I think that timing was everything. You get a post-jail Mike Tyson shot, mentally shot, spiritually shot.
Wow.
And one day he'll look back on his career and say, damn, I had it right there and I blew it. So many fighters are like that, you know?
Okay.
I do want to ask something about being shot, because it brings me back to thinking about Fury and his rematch with Klitschko. Now, what do you think? Was Klitschko a no-show in that first fight? Or was it just that Tyson picked him apart?
I think that Vladimir had so much on his mind in that fight. Tyson won the fight. Tyson outboxed Tyson. But that was, that's a terrible fight. Oh, God.
It is.
Would it go the same way the second time?
No, I think the second time would be different. And to me, Tyson just didn't. Tyson didn't want to
find that out.
Yeah, he didn't want that fight because they're supposed to fight a couple of times, and each time Tyson came up with something was wrong. You know, something was wrong with him, and he just didn't want to do it.
The reason why I'm asking that is because something been in my mind is that the Fury that we seen back on that night was never seen again, right? He went away, said he had mental issues, was partying, doing cocaine.
Yeah.
He comes back and tries his style against Safar Safari and Pianeta.
Yeah.
Right? And then when he tries it against Wilder, he barely gets a draw. Like, he could have been just stretched out. Is Tyson Fury on a decline? And a severe one because he has been abusing himself and he's aging? Like,
yeah, you made it's an interesting point. It's an interesting point. He might be on a decline. He might be a prime sitting duck for Oleksandr Usyk. But that time in Tyson Fury's case, time is of the essence. That's why he's trying to make this fight before he blow a gasket. They're trying to the movers and shakers is trying to make this fight before Tyson Fury blows a gasket. So.
Okay. Eugene, do you have any other further questions?
No, in general, just was wondering what your take would be on that, because it's just interesting. We kind of haven't seen the cracks, but we also have some tangential evidence for and it would be very interesting to see if those cracks are true when they do meet, if they ever.
There hasn't been anyone good enough to expose that if there are any cracks.
Well, he hasn't fought that many good guys though. He looked very poorly against what's the southpaw's name?
Otto
Wallen. You know, there's a question of whether he would have looked that way a few years prior.
Yeah, but that's because he had Ben Davison. He got rid of Ben Davison immediately after that fight, didn't he?
Right, but he also dropped his old style to begin with and started doing this more physical.
That's when he joined Sugar. That's when he joined Sugar Hill.
Right.
I think Sugar Hill was after that fight, after that volume fight. That last fight was where John Fury was saying how Tyson Fury was he was too light for that fight.
Oh yeah, that was heavier. The problem. Yeah. Tyson Fury ever been light.
That's what John Fury said. He was too light for that fight. You know, and he didn't sit down his punches, and that's why Sugar Hill came in and he saw the change. So they say. So Uncle Bashir's walked out of the car, I'm sure. Uncle Bashir, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, he's there.
Yeah,
so,
I'm here.
Uncle, do you have any Eugene, do you have any final thoughts on Uncle? Do you have any final thoughts? AJ versus Franklin?
He better get his ass shaken. That's what I'm saying. AJ had better get on the ball and get his ass shaken. Everything is riding on this fight.
Okay. So he better get his ass shaken and put some dick on that shot. Dick on that right
hand. Everything is on the line in this fight.
Arse and Dick is on the line for this fight, right?
Yeah.
Arse from you and James is Dick, so get some Arse and Dick involved. Yeah, you might confuse. That might confuse AJ, so be careful. So yeah. Oh, before you go, Uncle, I never did ask you this question. What did you think? Eddie Hearn said that AJ in the first fight for Usyk, he was reading notes while hitting the pads in the warm up before coming to the ring to fight Usyk in the first fight. Your thoughts?
He was doing what?
He was reading notes and hitting the pads and reading notes just before he's going out to fight Usyk.
He was reading notes and hitting the pads.
Yes.
Prior to going out to fight Usyk the second time, the first time?
Yeah, I think the second time, because Robert Garcia said he likes to give AJ notes and AJ likes to keep those notes with him when he's... That don't sound good.
You know, what a miscarriage of
justice.
Oh gosh, man! I've never seen such a miscarriage of a beautiful boxer. This guy could have been he could have been one of the most outstanding heavyweights in the history of boxing.
Absolutely.
If ever there was a case where you take a beautiful specimen and destroy it with this bullshit. Starting with Robert McCracken, but McCracken took him as far as he could take him, and he wouldn't relinquish the trainership
position
because of his ego. He took him as far as he could take him, and because of his ego, he wouldn't relinquish the spot, and they destroyed him.
You know, that's what,
Then he come back with this Angel Fernandez. They destroyed him because they had limited knowledge in the corner. It was limited knowledge. It was limited. There's no other way. Look. I don't want to be offensive or disrespectful. I don't want to be offensive or disrespectful to nobody. But
it's what it is.
It is what it is. It was limited knowledge. They didn't know what to do. And now he's got 2 losses to the same guy, the same little guy.
You know, that's why I say you got to get a professor in there. You know, you need a professor. You know, you can't be going then into heavyweight boxing with a school teacher. You know, you need a professor. You know, you need a scientist. You know, and that's what AJ needs, not a bunch of clowns around him.
You got.
Sorry.
Yeah. You got a fine specimen of a fighter, and then you say, "Oh, okay." this is why this is happening. And then you talk about you read notes. You reading the notes just before you go out.
Should have written them on his gloves. Take him to the ring.
I think he thought it was doing a play, maybe rehearsal for I don't know.
But I'm saying you lost to the same guy twice.
It was so nice. I had to do it twice.
Oh Lord, that's gonna come back to haunt him.
It did. It did. It was so nice. I had to do it twice.
Well, it's his
dear.
funeral.
Oh dear.
Okay, I'll see you guys later. Eugene, good talking to you, buddy.
Uncle,
it's nice talking to you. Thank you so much.
Uncle, it's nice to talk to you again. I hope I talk to you again before Christmas.
Yeah. Hopefully so. You know, I'm right around the corner.
Just remember something. The way I respond to you now is only because of the way that you have educated me. This 2013, 2023, 10 years of education. Thank you, Uncle.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful that it has taken hold, you know.
Uncle?
I'm a boxing trainer, and I don't feel like stopping. I don't feel like stopping.
Don't stop, Uncle.
I want to teach because I feel like I got something to offer. But when you come to me, come to me with the righteous stuff, not foolishness. Talking about the best trainers in the UK. Please, these guys still got milk around their mouth. They don't know nothing but no training.
Uncle, don't use the word milk around their mouth because some people got that as different connotation. Use the word, dummies in their mouths. That would probably be more adequate in this era.
Basically, they get my point.
Well, yeah. All right. But just one more thing. Why do American trainers use things like they need to put their ass into it and need to put a dick on the end of that shot? Well, why do American trainers use those analogies?
I've never, in all my years in boxing, I've never heard that terminology.
Well, you talk about using, you've got to get his ass behind it, and now Derek James talking about
you gotta put your ass on the shots. You gotta,
but now you've got Derek James talking about putting dick on the shot. I mean, is that just an American thing?
I don't know. I've never heard that terminology before, so it must be something else going on there. I don't know what you're talking
about. Well, maybe AJ responds better to that. I don't know. He seems to find it quite funny.
Wait and see what happens on the fight tomorrow night, and then we talk. All right.
Let's hope he puts some dick on the shot tomorrow night. Then let's see what it looks like. All right, Uncle Eugene, thank you all so much. Eugene, thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you as always. Any final words from yourself?
Maybe for the next time. I have this thing in my head, but it will probably mess with Mr. Bashir, and better not.
No, mess with Uncle Bashir before.
All right, sure. Has anyone heard anything from Freddie Roach? Is he still alive?
Oh yeah,
he's completely fallen off.
Yeah, where is Freddie Roach?
No, because they ain't gave him no bodies to work with.
Because of Pacquiao, remember? Oh, Uncle, while we're at it, Conor Ben. What's your thoughts on that? 2 failed drug tests, refused to.
Please, I don't want to talk about that. I really don't. It frustrates me to talk about this guy.
Wow.
Conor Ben, Nigel Ben, Conor Ben, and Chris Eubank. Those guys are on my no-fly list.
Wow.
They're I'm not interested in them. I don't have no interest in them.
Wow.
I don't. They just don't tweak my interest. I'm just not interested in them. I don't know why.
Garcia Tank.
Huh?
Garcia Tank.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a hot fight. That's gonna be a short fight, but it's gonna be a hot fight.
Who wins?
Tank wins the fight. He might have to get off the floor to do it. But Tank wins that fight.
Okay.
Tank wins that fight. He gets off the floor. If he might have to get off the floor, and Garcia might have to get off the floor. but I got Tank. I got Tank on that fight.
I'm
Good
not sure.
fight. Good
Good
fight.
fight.
Good
Yeah,
fight.
yeah.
It's about time they made the fight.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good fight. All right.
You know?
All right. Uncle, thank you so much. Eugene. Anything else, Eugene?
All right.
No, that'll be it.
Okay.
Boston
Thank you.
down sauce. I'll see you later.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Eugene, as always, thank you for stopping by. Really do appreciate you. This is it from BWTM Sports. And I guess you'll catch us on the post-fight for Joshua
Good
versus
night,
Franklin.
good morning, depending on where you are.
Absolutely. Good night and goodbye to everybody. Good night.